from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, CSN Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros begin a long homestand. It's the first of 4 against the defending AL West champion, Oakland A's. Good evening, everybody. The roof is open. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby, who arrived along with the Astros traveling party in the wee hours of the morning after a 2-4 road trip, and there were 2 games there that got away, and it could have been a really nice trip. Ash.
Had a chance to have a 4-2 road trip if you hang on to a couple of games in the 9th inning. And yesterday's ball game in Seattle, probably the one that just felt like it broke your back. Of course, no worse than the one in Oakland.
Yeah, so the Oakland A's have won 18 of their last 22 from the Astros. They have owned the late innings in these games.
They have done that, and you can see the pitching numbers, and in the late innings, clearly Oakland outscoring the Astros. But that speaks to the offensive side of the game as well. The Astros have had their struggles there, as we all know. But late innings, the Astros still trying to figure out that back end of the bullpen. Yesterday, it was Josh Fields. He came on with a 1-run lead against Seattle in that 9th inning. 3-run home run by Kyle Seager took care of that as the Mariners scratched 1 win out of the series, and the Astros really had a chance to have a series there in Oakland. Game 2, it was win time in that ballgame. Chad Qualls came on, leadoff home run in the 9th inning, and then a big base hit by Josh Reddick to win the ballgame for the Oakland A's. That one also, and maybe as much as the one in Seattle, just felt like it broke your back. The Astros had pitched so well. Brett Oberholzer in that ballgame, of course, he goes tonight.
And he had a 3-1 lead when he left. As you mentioned, he had thrown the ball very well, and he is matched up once again as he was in that game with Scott Kazmir tonight.
A couple of left-handers go at it. Kazmir was good in that ball game, but Brett Oberholzer, though he gave up 8 hits in 5 2/3 innings, really pitched well, and he got out of jams when he found himself there, used all the pitches very well, dominated left-hand hitters, and it was just a day that looked like Brett Oberholzer and the Astros were destined to win, and that is no small feat at all against these Oakland A's in recent times.
Coming up next from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, it's Julia Morales talking about Jonathan Villar smoothing out the highs and lows right after this. Comcast Sportsnet's presentation of Houston Astros baseball is presented by Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box and try the new Jack's Blazin' Chicken Sandwich. It's Jack's hottest sandwich yet.
Well, on Comcast Sportsnet, the Houston Astros are back at home on this nice, wonderful, warm evening after a cold, chilly road trip over in Seattle. They're happy to be back. Scott Kazmir going tonight for the Oakland A's, and Jonathan Villar has to be looking forward to getting to the plate tonight as he faced Kazmir just 5 days ago along with the Astros, and he looked good in that game. That was last Saturday. He went 2 for 3 off Kazmir, including a deep home run to center field, showing off the power from that right side, and he just really looked good the entire series in the Bay Area, hitting .364 that series. But the offense hasn't come easy for VR this season. He's still 22, still trying to figure it out, and we've seen him show his frustrations in the dugout. You see this video here after getting robbed of a hit. Jesus Guzman coming over to chat with him and just give him some words of wisdom. Guzman told me he loves the passion that VR is playing with it. He just wants him to use it in a positive way. Now, talking to several of the coaches on the staff, they're really pleased with how VR is able to separate what he's doing at the plate with how he's playing defense. And we've seen the maturity and the glove of VR change this year in a good way. You see here just solid play, very, very good. And Pat Listach, the infield coach, telling me that he's actually playing like a veteran. These are strong words for a guy who was just figuring out the position and figuring out the big leagues not that long ago. Coming up, it feels a little like deja vu, don't you think? We've got Scott Kazmir and Brett Oberholzer facing off again for the second time in 5 days. The Astros looking to back up their own lefty tonight. First pitch and lineups are coming up after the break.
A 4-game series, and the Astros will have a day off and then a couple of games with the Washington Nationals before entertaining Seattle 4-3 on a nice long homestand. And good to get back as you did, Ash, from the road and have an open roof tonight on a gorgeous night in Houston.
It's always nice to get back home, Brownie, no doubt, but the weather is so pleasant here, a little on the warm side, but that's really nice after being in Seattle. Those 3 very cold days, couple of nights, just kind of wore right into the bones, so I'm thrilled to be here.
Julia has discarded her earmuffs, and we're all ready to go.
She was wrapped up, wasn't she?
Brett Oberholzer going to work against this starting lineup for Bob Melvin's Oakland A's. And they are just a half game out of first in the AL West. It's Coco Crispin center field. Jed Lowry's the shortstop. The former Astro followed by third baseman Josh Donaldson. Yoenis Cespedes plays left field with Derek Norris, the catcher. Alberto Callaspo is the DH. Craig Gentry's in right field tonight against the lefty, with Brandon Moss at first base and Nick Punto at second base.
Brett Oberholzer on the mound for the Astros. 24-year-old left-hander, 0-3. That is very deceiving. A fine ERA of 3.04 at this point, and his last time out was against the Oakland A's in Oakland on this recent road trip. 5 2/3, very good innings. Did allow 8 hits, but just 1 run in the ball game. Obi mixing everything, not overpowering with the fastball, and really dealing well against left-hand hitters so far this year. That's a good sign.
And he, like a lot of his teammates, had been sick prior to that start. Was sent home the night before from the clubhouse, and he was able to give the club 94 pitches in 5 2/3 innings, as you pointed out, Ash.
Really good stuff. He walked a couple in the game, struck out 3, so not big numbers right there, but when he did find himself some problems during the course of the game, he found every way to get out.
And now this lineup, which is 5th in runs scored in the American League. Bo Porter trying to beat Bob Melvin's club, which has had the stranglehold on the Astros with those 18 wins in the last 22, with Houston completely dominant last year against the Astros. The Astros still trying to find the formula for victory against the A's club, which swept them in Oakland a few days ago. And Oakland last year winning the division by 5 games with a 96-66 record, coming out firing again with that 13-8 record. But they were swept at Texas in the last 3 games, so it's their first 3-game losing streak of the season, and Coco Crisp gets it started.
So Oakland A's lead this all-time series with Houston 23-5.
Oakland 9-6 against the clubs in the Western Division. Crisp at .317 has 2 homers. He's driven in 7 and he's scored 8 runs. Corner infielders even with the bases as he comes up. And the pitch is ball 1 for Brett Oberholzer, who is 0-1 in his career against Oakland in 2 starts with a very good ERA. 1.54. As you mentioned, Ash, it is 80 degrees at game time. There's a strike and it's 1-1.
You know, 80, 85, 90 can be really pleasant after you're just downright cold for a few days. So enjoy, Brownie.
You and Blummer were looking like frozen men last night. Frozen men in black.
Time to bundle is what it was.
2-1. Crisp is a .319 career hitter against Houston with 5 homers, 12 runs batted in. He seemed to be right in the thick of things on just about all the important Oakland rallies against Houston last year. Switch hitter with good speed, 34 years old. And that's a good change of speeds on the breaking ball by Obi, making the count 2-2. That's one thing he does so well. And the second lowest Astro ERA, as you can see, through his first 14 starts as an Astro. Only Darryl Kyle in '91 had a lower ERA through his first 14 major league starts as an Astro.
Not many guys come to the big leagues with as great a command of a change as Obi has.
Out to left center field, AT HOU goes back on it, and it's out number 1. That's a good sign to get the ball in the air against Crisp.
On the defensive side for the Astros, you saw him on that play in left field. It's AT HOU, Dexter Fowler in center, and George Springer's in right. Around the infield left to right, Matt Dominguez and Jonathan Villar on the left side. They are very good. Jose Altuve at second, errorless to this point. Jesus Guzman at first, and Jason Castro behind the plate.
Now former Astro Jed Lowrie comes to the plate. Switch hitting shortstop. Jed just turned 30 a week ago. He looks at strike 1. Just became a father, he said, 4 months ago. Lowrie at .264 has 2 homers, 7 runs batted in for Jed. He came up with Boston. The Astros got him in a trade after the 2011 season. Moved him along to Oakland prior to last year, and he had a big year with 15 homers, 75 runs batted in, and a .290 batting average. Now headed for free agency if he does not sign with the A's before the end of this season.
You know, we talked on the pregame about the A's being a team willing to work counts deep. You saw Lowrie take the first pitch right down the middle. But if you throw strikes and you keep getting ahead on them, they'll change that point.
Very good point. 1-2 to Lowrie.
Yankees and Red Sox, Tampa Bay teams that have employed that style of play. Bob Melvin likes to do it with his club. But again, if you get your pitching throwing strikes, putting the hitters behind in the count, and then putting them away, they will come out of that style of play.
Lowrie with 18 walks is tied for second in the American League. It's upstairs and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Their hitting coach is Chili Davis, and he was talking about their characteristics as a team, and they're well known for exactly what you said. Taking pitches, getting ahead in the count, and still hitting for power. when they do select to swing. And that's a reaching foul ball. But he also said, and you've talked about this, you and Blummer, Ash, last year and this year, that typically these players have been that sort of player all the way through the minor leagues. He said every now and then you'll get a guy who has not had a high on base average until he gets to the big leagues. And then he does change a little bit. He gets a little more selective. But pretty much that's the type of player most guys are through the minor leagues and up through the majors.
Of course, you bring in a Yoenis Cespedes from Cuba, and he adapts as much as possible. Jed Lowry comes in. You incorporate players, but I would also imagine, as you're saying, that organizations, when they bring those players in, will try to find the type of player they're looking for.
Sure. And Lowry fit perfectly into this Oakland culture of hitting. And fouls it back. So here's another thing he does: extend the at bat by fouling off pitches.
How do you teach that?
I don't know.
I have never been around that hitting coach that said, okay, let's work on the foul ball now. Just have never seen it.
This will be the 8th pitch.
Apparently that guy's really good.
Chili, well, they're off to a decent start offensively, but he said he doesn't feel they've really hit their stride yet. They were shut out yesterday by the Rangers' young lefty, Martin Perez. There's a ground ball and a hit through the left side. So Lowry not only works the count, works it to 8 pitches, but gets a good result, a single. And Lowry with that big home run to lead the comeback in Oakland in the bottom of the 9th inning a few days ago, working his way on now for Josh Donaldson. Donaldson's on a 5-game hitting streak, and he is in the top 10 in total bases in the American League after a sensational year last year. Tonight he checks in at 269. He has 4 homers. He's driven in 14 runs. Donaldson had a 3-hit game, including a homer in the final game of the series in Oakland against Houston. He cracks one a long way to left field. That's going to stay on the right side of the foul pole, and that's a 2-run homer for Josh Donaldson, number 5. Quickly, it's 2-0 Oakland.
Well, there was the other side of that ploy. First pitch swinging. Donaldson got the fastball up a bit through the zone and just destroyed it. Look where this pitch is. As a hitter, if you're looking fastball, you couldn't ask for something any better than this to try to crank on. And Donaldson's a guy that cranks anyway, so it set up beautifully for him.
It's his 4th career long ball against the Astros, his 2nd this season. And quickly it's 2-0. And Yoenis Cespedes is the batter. So that gives Oakland the early edge. And now it's strike 1 to Cespedes at 241 with 4 homers, 14 runs batted in. In the dirt for the season series now, the Oakland A's have outscored the Astros 21-7 so far. 1 ball, 1 strike. Donaldson drove in 93 last year, belted 24 long balls, finished 4th in the MVP voting. That's fouled straight back. Good cut by Cespedes, 1 and 2. Another thing Chili Davis said around the cage, Ash, and you can relate to this probably, is what he talks quite often to the Oakland hitters about is the height of the pitch, knowing what kind of pitcher he is. And it would be different for the Astros last night facing a Chris Young compared to the A's yesterday facing a Martin Perez, who's a lefty sinker ball guy. But make sure you know what height of pitch you want to swing at.
Now that's really intriguing. And I've heard hitting coaches say, pick out a pitch that you can handle. And I know what hitting is like. You try to start early enough as a hitter that you can handle the fastball and adjust to breaking pitches. And if you're not seeing the ball really well, you tend to get fooled on the breaking balls. But if you guess breaking ball, you have no chance on the fastball. So it's that kind of a game that plays out. But to then think, okay, I'm only going to swing at this pitch that's this height, it says you're really seeing the ball well. That, for me, bottom line, you have to be seeing it well to employ any of those tactics.
Strikeout for Oberholzer for out number 2. And now the catcher Norris comes up. Here's that last pitch.
Yeah, the changeup of Oberholzer is is really, in my estimation, his most effective pitch. Now, the other pitch is very good because he spots them well, but the changeup will have hitters out in front time and time again.
Norris at 282 has 2 homers, 6 runs batted in. He was 0 for 3 in this series in Oakland against Houston. At strike one. Yeah, he was pointing out, and it would be different. Let's say a Martin Perez, a lefty sinker ball pitcher. You would want him to get the ball up before you swung if you're hitting against him, and it would be the opposite of Chris Young last night for the Astros. You want to get him down a little bit in the zone, because swinging at that high pitch, and we saw that sometimes from Astros hitters yesterday, that's what Chris Young wants you to do, hit the ball in the air.
You get to talking to the different coaches with the Astros, and the losses build up and they make it so tough, and everybody's given their very best effort and then some. And so the challenge is a big one.
1-2. Well, Oberholzer has made 14 major league starts. He's gone at least 5 innings in all 14. That ties the club record. And who said it? Mark Lemongello.
It's a name that rings part of my past.
Was that back in the days of Astro Jack and Astro Jill?
Could very well have been. I never met Astro Jill. There's the change.
And it got him for his second straight punch out. 2 runs, 2 hits on the Donaldson long ball. Oakland 2, Houston coming up. The Astros coming up with the Astros lineup card presented by Jack in the Box. Scott Kazmir on the mound, Houston native, Cy Falls High School, facing Jose Altuve at second base. Dexter Fowler in center field, Jason Castro the catcher, George Springer the cleanup man in right field. Jesus Guzman's at first base. The DH is Chris Carter, the former Oakland A, with Matt Dominguez at third, LJ Hoes in left field, and Jonathan Villar the shortstop.
Left-hander Scott Kazmir goes to the hill for the Oakland A's. 30 years of age, 2-0 on the season. He's pitched very well, 165. No longer has that great fastball he once had in the mid and upper 90s, but he's learning to pitch. And he has shown us a great changeup as well, one that has taken years to develop, but develop it has, and it's become a big part of what he's doing.
He was drafted in the first round in 2002 by the New York Mets after starring at Cy Falls High School, and he broke Josh Beckett's Texas high school strikeout record at Cy Falls. Now facing Jose Altuve, who leads the Astros with 22 hits and dealing strike one. Altuve 0 for his last 11. Nonetheless, checks in at 250.
First fastball of the night at 89, and that's kind of in the range now that we're seeing from Kazmir, but spotting it so much better than at one time.
He's up with that one, and it's 1-1. Kazmir has made 4 starts. They've all been quality starts. Oakland has won all 4 of his starts. Last time out, a no decision, but Oakland won it late, 4-3 against Houston. Ground ball, Donaldson. Donaldson's made 5 errors this year, but that's out number 1.
Had a couple in that series with the Astros. Defensively for the Oakland A's tonight around the outfield left to right, Yoenis Cespedes, Coco Crisp, and Craig Gentry, who plays very well in right field. Infield, Josh Donaldson, Jed Lowry on the left side. On the right, it's Nick Punto and Brandon Moss, and Derek Norris does the catching.
Oakland normally a good fielding team, not this year so far. 21 errors, tied for the most in the American League. And the most they've made in their first 21 games of the season since 1987. Dexter Fowler at 214 is on a 4-game hitting streak. Looking at ball 1. Dexter went 3 for 10 in this series in Oakland. Kazmir works quickly, and it's ball 2.
Pumping up the velocity a bit. He's been to 91 and 92.
You mentioned he really threw hard at one point, didn't he, in his career?
He was one of those guys that folks raved about.
Through the left side, and Fowler selects the 2-0 pitch and smashes it past the diving Donaldson for hit number 1 for the Astros. A 5-game streak for Dexter Fowler.
See how he goes about it. Good extension through the baseball. That's the swing that will also produce the long ball for Dexter.
Jason Castro is next, lefty on lefty here. Castro has been surging a little bit, 212, 4 homers, 11 runs batted in, slugging percentage at .455 now. He had a homer and drove in 5 in the Seattle series.
4 opposition stolen bases against Kazmir this year in 4 tries.
Castro, as that one comes up, is ball 1. Might want to test him a little bit. The Astros have been good in steals, 18 for 23, second in the league in the number of steals, and the A's have allowed 19 steals in 21 tries. Ground ball and on through. Kazmir tried to swipe it behind his back. Fowler going first to third on the clean single by Castro. That's fantastic hitting right back through the middle, lefty on lefty.
That's either a double play or a base hit, and Castro hits it sharp enough to slip it by Kazmir. And like you say, Brownie, that is really nice. The front shoulder of Castro against the left-hander stays right in there. Haven't seen as much of this running game from Dexter Fowler as maybe anticipated to start the year.
Now first and third with 1 out, and it's George Springer batting. He was 0 for 11 in the Seattle series. Bo Porter hoping he can snap an 0 for 14 overall here, or at the very least get the runner home from third. Big swing and strike 1.
A little extra pump right there from Kazmir, but a good location for George Springer.
Springer has 1 major league RBI. He's had 33 at bats. 0 for 3 against Kazmir 5 days ago. Chases that one, and it's 0-2.
He's frustrated right now. Everybody is when you're struggling. But he also believes in himself. Julia was down around the guys, and George said, hey, it's okay. I'm going to be just fine. I'm really close.
That one hit him, and the bases are loaded. On the 0-2 pitch, Springer is hit in the left leg. It appeared, and he's limping on his way up to the first base line.
He's a tough young man. You get hit by a hard fastball on the lower leg like this, shake your head and say, no, I don't need any help. And you're tougher than some of us here in the booth, I know.
That's a bony area, Ash.
That is. Bottom of the knee area. Let's see where this hits. Ow. That tends to hit some bone. Yeah, that'll make you hobble, but he didn't hobble long.
Bases loaded now. Jesus Guzman's the batter. has 2 homers, 3 runs batted in, and looks at that one for ball 1. Guzman, a .211 hitter, and he's being platooned. He gets the start against lefties. Career .263 hitter with the bases loaded. Kazmir had one really bad start here when he was with the Indians last year. Ground ball foul, but the other ones have yielded very good results. He's 1-0 lifetime against Houston in 4 starts.
What are you told as a base runner at third base? Make sure you're in foul territory, number 1, and be heads up. Know your hitter. Dexter Fowler showing some flexibility. Maybe some dance moves. Dancing with the Stars can't be too far in the future.
Just don't dance into fair territory and get hit by the ball. That's a strike, and it's 1-2. Toby Bassner is the home plate umpire tonight. Yeah, on that one, it was right at him, so sometimes the base runner tends to freeze a little bit.
Yeah, if you get hit with the ball in foul territory, nobody's out. It's on you at that point.
2-2 now to Guzman. Chris Carter on deck. Kazmir can get a double play ball. He throws the slider and cuts his fastball. He can come in on a right-handed hitter underneath his hands and get it done that way sometimes. That's strike 3. It's a very big out for Kazmir as the bases are loaded now with 2 down for Carter.
Look like a pitch you can't take. And that's going to be in that area where a lot of hitters are going to say that's too low, but a lot of pitchers are going to say that's exactly where I want it. Front of the plate is where you look, and that's likely at the bottom of the knees.
Now Chris Carter, 156. He's 308 in his career. The bases loaded, and that one's up for ball 1. Carter has 2 homers, 5 runs batted in, 5 doubles. He has just been in an awakening the last few games now. Hit 2 homers, drove in 3 in the 3-game Seattle series, going 3 for 7. 2-0. He hit a monster shot a couple nights ago. It was a rocket into the upper deck in left field. And he also had an RBI single. And then in yesterday's game, he went deep to left field. He had been held without a home run until the Tuesday night swing.
It was a much improved version of Chris Carter, no doubt.
He's 3 for 6 against Kazmir. Lets that one go for ball 3, and Carter has worked it to a 3-0 count.
The question is, can Chris Carter convert a few good games into a solid season and work here at home at Minute Maid Park?
Attaboy. That's ball 4, and a run comes in to make it 2-1 Oakland. Carter gets the RBI, his 6th of the year. And on the 3-0 pitch, it's out of his zone, bringing up Matt Dominguez. Fowler scoring, Castro to third, Springer to second.
Now that helps make up for the strikeout there on Guzman. Yeah, they're thinking on the pitching side, boy, that's close, or come on, let's go, Scott. But look like the maybe that's close range.
Pitching coach Kurt Young with that reaction. Now it's Matt Dominguez, bases loaded. And Domingo, 429 lifetime with the bases juiced with a couple of grand slams.
Has a pitching coach's pitcher ever thrown a ball?
Probably not. Well, Domingo's another, and there have been several of his teammates as well who have shown very good positive signs on this recently concluded road trip. 4-game hitting streak. He hit .278 on the trip with 2 homers and drove in 5. 1 for 7 lifetime against Kazmir. And it's 1-1. It's a good sign for the Astros that they have now forced Kazmir to extend himself the way the A's did in the top of the inning against Oberholzer. The Astros were 1-8 against Oakland here at Minute Maid Park last year. AT HOU is on deck. Beautiful night here. Nice breeze blowing out to left field. Matt Dominguez. And he fouls it.
Power of suggestion, Brownie.
Did you ever think when you were batting about the breeze? You know, it's not one of those prominent thoughts in your mind, is it?
You know what? When it was blowing in, I was keenly aware it was blowing in.
Yeah.
When it was blowing out, not so much, but you know, you start feeling good with the bat, start feeling frisky, and you try to take advantage.
Yeah, at Wrigley, that would be understandable. And this poke foul as he just tries to stay alive and does exactly that at 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Oh, there's a nice job. And if he's been taught how to hit foul balls on tough pitches, that's really coming through.
That was the 25th pitch of the inning.
Remember as a kid hearing that Richie Ashburn used to hit foul balls intentionally. I thought, man, how do you do that?
And a strikeout for Kazmir. Ends the run on 2 hits, leave 3, 2-8.
It's time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag Astros fan photo. This is for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. The Astros fan photo brought to you by AT&T. And with the winning percentage that the A's have over the Astros coming into this game, you have to wonder what the Astros players are thinking when they look over and see green and gold. Well, I talked to AT HOU about this. He said him and Matt Dominguez were just having this conversation. They said when things are going good, it seems like we're facing Seattle. When they're not going so well, it seems like it's following a series with the Oakland A's. They're definitely tired of being on the losing end here, and Bo Porter won't name any team names, but he did reiterate they have to beat the teams in their division. He also said the key to beating the A's is throwing strikes and getting after their starter. Leave their bullpen out of it, guys.
Thanks, Julia. 2-1 Oakland after 1. Alberto Callaspo, the DH, is the batter. He moves away from ball 1.
You hear Bo say that about the key is throwing strikes. And I would add throwing strikes early in the count and staying with it, because you want to bring these guys out of that ploy of take.
That's in for a strike, and it's 1-1. Well, we saw that against the Yankees in the very first series of the year, with Scott Feldman setting that tone opening night.
Of course, I say that about bringing them out of the taking ploy, and yet it was Josh Donaldson first pitch swinging, launching the 2-run home run.
Oberholzer with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Trying to snap this losing streak, and it certainly has not been a lot of his own doing. Lack of run support. That's out to right center field. Legging it over, Dexter Fowler. Gentry, 4 batting average to the plate and 1 RBI. This ball 1 from Obi. Lefty from Christiana, Delaware. Drafted by the Atlanta Braves in the 8th round in 08. Traded in the Michael Bourne deal, along with 3 other players to the Astros in the middle of the 2011 season. Line into the left field corner. And that will give him plenty of opportunity to get to second base. A double for Gentry, his second 2-base hit of the year.
Got to start against the Astros last week in Oakland and took advantage with a couple of hits. Again, that's kind of in that same range of the pitch that Josh Donaldson drove out and way out to left field.
Now a little meeting at the mound has brought in the shortstop VR, and the catcher Castro has gone out. Possibility of an attempt to steal third here. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. They may be addressing that possibility. With Gentry 3 for 3 this season and 15 for his last 15 in stolen base tries, VR is going to play right behind him. And Moss is the batter. Moss is in the top 10 in runs batted in with 16 for Brandon. And that one hits him, a breaking ball that didn't come around. So runners at first and second now, and 1 out for Nick Punto.
So when you're scuffling, you're not commanding any of your pitches the way you like. The curveball's getting away, and that's exactly what this one does. Moss gets hit with the soft pitch, but they still hurt.
Now Punto, the switch hitting second sacker, begins the night at 242. Sharing some time with Eric Sogard at second base. Fouls that one away. Punto has a career .390 average against the Astros, 16 hits and 41 at bats. Veteran middle infielder. He was with the Minnesota Twins for a long time, and he's bounced around recently from club to club. He's landed with a good club this year. Oakland has been picked by many to win this division again for the 3rd straight year. Nick's 36 years old. He was with the Dodgers a year ago. Had a 3-hit game against the Astros in Oakland. Started the bat, and he's called for swinging by Toby Bassner. And it's 0-2 to Punto.
This changeup will get a lot of these. Bat way in front of the baseball.
Bassner behind the plate. It's a 7-game losing streak for Oberholzer. That dates back 7 starts to September 7th last year. And yet with a good ERA. That's low for a ball, 1-2.
Well, that was the bat out there pretty good again on the off-speed pitch.
Oberholzer joined the Astros rotation at the end of July last year. In 14 starts, he has a 2.45 ERA. And yet his major league career record is 4-8 with a 283. That's some tough luck work. 2-2.
Trying to spot the outside edge, just can't quite get it there. You would think a night like tonight would be ideal in terms of gripping the baseball, but some guys around Major League Baseball are having a tough time there.
Oh, really?
That's the story I'm hearing anyway.
You mean Michael Pineda?
Michael Pineda, you know, had dirt on his palm recently, and apparently yesterday his neck fell on the pine tar rag, I think.
That was funny looking dirt on his palm.
Was.
Very tacky, dark colored dirt.
You know, there are so many better ways, and I know I've heard other people say it, but my goodness, find a place on your glove, something that doesn't look like you're masquerading for Halloween.
Ground ball short. VR got caught in between hops. Guns it on the recovery to Altuve, but the ball popped out of his glove, and that means only 1 out instead of 2.
Well, you want to get that double play, no doubt, Brownie, but I have to applaud the work, the steady work so far from VR at shortstop. When you kick one, it's really easy to have this play all over, but able to get the baseball and get an out.
Good recovery. Looked like it would be the end of the inning, but he got caught in between hops a little bit, so no error can be charged because he got an out on the play, and runners are at first and third with 2 down for Coco Crisp now.
Those mistakes don't show up at all in an ERA, do they?
No. That's an important part of ERAs. They're not totally reflective of the work that a pitcher has done.
Unless, of course, we're fipping.
Well, we do fip a little bit, don't we? There's ball 1.
Fielders independent pitching.
Yeah.
Huh? That's good.
You try to take the feeling out of it. They want to measure the job the pitcher has done that's not dependent on his fielders. That's why that stat was created. So things like strikeouts, walks.
And for some pitchers, it means it shaves the ERA down. For others, it actually will vault that ERA upward.
So it's what he can control, and that is not plays made by the other 8 guys on the field. Matt Harvey had the best figure last year. He's out with Tommy John surgery this year, and the worst, Jeremy Guthrie.
No kidding. Worst in baseball, Jeremy Guthrie.
That's kind of crazy, isn't it?
It really is.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Because he actually pitched pretty well, it seemed, for Kansas City.
Well, that's why somebody invented that stat, Ash, to prove that.
Just to make sure that you don't walk away saying, you know what, I had a pretty good year. No, you didn't, pal. Sit down here. I'll show you something.
You know, there aren't very many arbitration cases heard anymore because most of those cases get settled. But can you imagine, with all the numbers today, how long it might take for an arbitration hearing? Could take days.
Well, you've got to make sure the arbitrator even knows what these numbers mean.
Well, that's the problem sometimes.
FIP, you say, huh?
Yes. Well, in about 4 hours, we'll know what FIP is, and then we can move on to the next stat. It's off the end of the bat into right center field. It could be trouble, and it's going to drop for a hit. A run scores, and that makes it 3-1. In between Altuve, Springer, and Fowler. Now the throw gets away, and no play at second. So that throw got loose on the infield. It trickled over to Dominguez. Crisp winding up at second base after the little dunker, the RBI single, giving him his 8th RBI, and that made it 3-1.
You can't make that kind of mistake on the back end of things. Hit an infielder, throw the ball. But I guess FIP would indicate that this run or any that follow here in the inning were not the fault of Brett Oberholzer.
Springer draws an error on the throw. An RBI single for Crisp.
Even Coco Crisp has no idea this is going to drop. Either that or he had no desire for a double.
And he hustled into second as the throw dribbled over toward Dominguez. Second error of the year for Springer. Runners at second and third, 2 outs for Lowry now. Lowry single to the left of the shortstop. Rolls over on this one, and it goes foul. Like Springer just kind of tossed that ball in. And then it rolled all the way over by third base.
One of those lessons to be learned in the outfield. Don't lob the ball back in. Find somebody and throw the ball to him.
Three runs on 4 hits for Oakland. Lowry takes, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. See that throw again, Ash.
Springer comes on, picks it up cleanly, and now, you know, VR's out there with Altuve, but he does have VR at the bag at second, and that little lob toss just simply gets away.
Lowry looks at ball 2. We mentioned the A's were shut out yesterday at home by Texas 3-0. They lost the first 2 games of that series, 4-3 and 5-4, so they have not been supplying a whole lot of offense recently for Bob Melvin. It's 3-1. Their fielding has been lackluster, so starting pitching has had a whole lot to do with their 13-8 record so far this year. And they do have the best starting pitching in the American League. The Rangers are a half game better. And then the Angels, Mariners, and Astros round out the AL West.
How about those Rangers going into Oakland and taking 3 straight?
You know, Ron Washington might be doing his best managing job of his career so far. Line drive left field. Hose broke over, now in for the catch. And the A's have a run on 2 hits with an error, and they strand a couple to lead it 3-1.
With your Houston Astros Saturday, May 3rd. And come early for a pregame Mexican-themed street festival. 10,000 fans will also receive a Los Astros t-shirt. That's courtesy of Goya. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com.
Beautiful night in downtown Houston. Game 1 of a 9-game homestand. 4 with Oakland, 2 with Washington. That should be interesting to see that club under Matt Williams. And 3 with Seattle. 3-1. Oakland has built the early lead for Scott Kazmir. L.J. Hose steps up as the number 8 hitter to lead it off in the second inning. Kazmir threw 25 pitches in the first inning. Hose at 188 has 1 homer. And looks at ball 1. Diamondbacks beat the Cubs at Wrigley Field today 5-2. Hose looks at it. It's a strike. Mike Bolsinger got his first major league win. He grew up about 8 miles from Wrigley Field, where he won today. 1-2. That Arizona club very slow out of the gate this season.
Some people thought they were the team to beat in that division.
They're 7-18. Hose is down on strikes. That's number 3 for Kazmir in the early going.
I guess in that category of stranger things have happened, but it doesn't look good right now for the D-backs.
Tough to come back from 7-18. Especially in that same division as the Dodgers. And they have just absolutely wailed on Arizona this year in head-to-head play. Dodgers currently leading the NL West at 13-9. Jonathan Villar ripped a long home run off Kazmir in Oakland 5 days ago. That's ball 1 to him. At 194, he has 3 homers, 6 runs batted in, and 4 doubles. So good output in the extra base category for Jonathan in the early going. On base average is .260. And that wouldn't be anything he'd be proud of, but he hit .273 on the recently concluded road trip. Showing signs of putting some things together. 1-1. The Astros had several players in that category. Fowler, VR, Dominguez, Chris Carter. All hitting pretty well, much better than they had been. 1-2.
Inside black there, bottom of the knees, the 2 strikes on VR, and that's what it feels like. It's kind of piling up on you when you're struggling.
Yeah. 2-2. Those calls go the other way. Kazmir's won 78 and lost 70 in his career.
Neither pitcher, Brownie, tonight really what you'd call painting.
No. A sluggish start for both. Broken bat roller to the left side. Donaldson. 2 outs. Kazmir first faced the Astros in Tampa Bay in the '08 season. And last year, when he came to Houston as a member of the Cleveland Indians, he was just off the disabled list. The Indians jumped all over Phil Umber, handing him an 8-0 lead after 1/2 inning, and he didn't stay around long enough to get the decision. He was gone after 3 1/3, gave up 6 earned runs. Jose Altuve 0 for 1. Fouls that one for strike 1. Altuve came into this game hitting .429 against lefty pitching. But then Kazmir shut out the Astros in Cleveland last September for 7 innings with 1 walk and 10 strikeouts. He signed a 2-year $22 million deal with Oakland as a free agent. And now with the injuries on their pitching staff, he could really give them a lift this year. Donaldson off his glove, and he tried the sliding play but didn't make it. Altuve's aboard. It's a hit for Altuve. The club leader just got his 23rd.
This is one of those in-between hops. That second hop is what eats up third baseman around baseball. And the one on the left side, all you can do is what Donaldson attempted to do here. Kind of slide into it, see if you can somehow come up with the baseball. But again, very difficult.
Yep.
When you're playing at shortstop or second, that what tends to happen a lot of times, that second hop is well out in front of you at the corners, and especially third base. You just get eaten up time and time again.
That's a good point. Dexter Fowler singled and scored earlier. You just don't have the time at third, do you, to wait for that hop?
You know, if you played all the way back as a shortstop does, you'd find a lot of those in that nice, easy second hop. But that second hop to me is the killer at third.
He got moving right away, and he moved laterally towards second base, but that didn't take the bad part of the hop out for him. He still had to try to make that pickup sliding. And sometimes once that ball hits on the dirt, if it's got overspin on it, it can really come up quickly. I'm sure there are third basemen who go out there and for a week they don't feel that they get an easy ground ball. You know, there are slumps for hitters, there are slumps for pitchers, and in fielding too. It could be that way, I would imagine, Ash.
Think Brooks Robinson ever had a bad hop?
No, he didn't.
Well, he made that position look so easy and didn't even have a strong arm to go with it. There have been some great ones. We've seen Mike Schmidt, of course, and Scott Rowland. And heck, Jeff Blum played a whale of a third base.
Yeah. But, you know, you've seen the 1970 World Series highlight film, right? Brooks Robinson against
Lee May, I think, needs a copy.
Yeah. There's a player, and Brooks was, he's a Hall of Fame player, so he could hit. But what an impact he had defensively on that World Series.
He just took the series and kind of controlled it.
Lee May, as you mentioned, Johnny Bench would hit rockets down that third base line, and they'd go from doubles to outs.
That Big Red machine had a load of powerful right-hand hitters, and that third base area was just getting pummeled, but not much effect on the side of the Reds.
3-2. Well, Jeff Plum made a few plays with Arizona as well.
Yeah, he could go get it. A very steady third baseman. And some spectacular mixed in.
And some second.
He mixed in all the positions. Didn't matter how he wore the glove either.
3-2, 2 outs. The runner will go, but first of all, a throw over. Altuve's tied for the AL lead in steals with 9. He's been caught once. Third base, though, such a rough position to play when those hitters start hitting the ball hard down that way. And then even if they hit it softly, he's got to come in a long way, sometimes barehand the ball.
Yep. And you remember, in the case of Brooks Robinson, he didn't run well.
True.
So it was really instincts and jumps.
That's high for ball 4. Fowler works the walk. Fowler's 9th walk of the year. And now 2 on after 2 went out to Kazmir, and it's Castro coming up. Well, both pitchers just trying to hit their spots, get in sync, but that has not been the case for either one of them tonight. And now Kurt Young comes out. 2 walks and a hit batsman for Kazmir. And Overholzer has hit a batter, given up 4 hits. So one of those nights in which both starters are trying to make certain adjustments on the fly here, and they're really struggling to get it done.
Yeah, you see a lot of pitchers say, let's go. They're done with the conversation. This is all run through their head over and over. But it's a part of what they're kind of stuck with having to listen to.
Now Castro sharply singled up the middle.
Tell you what, I played with some pitchers, and I won't name names, but some big name pitchers who wanted no part of those meetings at the mound.
Well, there's a certain Hall of Famer who probably is in that company. There's a strike to Castro.
Yeah, guys that maybe lead the major leagues all time in strikeouts, that sort of thing. They kind of heard it all.
Did you see that BABIP on Castro, 222?
I actually didn't see it, but I was keenly aware. You think he knows his BABIP is 222?
No. But do you think he feels that he is producing below expectations?
Oh, I imagine that. His expectations, and that probably is really what's at the bottom of what most guys that can play the game really think about. I'm better than this.
1-2. Well, statistics would say that he is due to go on an uptick. We don't know how long it would take, but he is far below the major league average on batting average for balls in play.
Look, he can really swing the bat. I have felt to this point on the season that he hasn't reacted to the hard pitching in on his hands. You give him a pitch away and he's going to drive it. And he already has 4 home runs.
That's a strikeout to win the Astros second with no runs a hit and 2 men stranded. 3-1 Oakland after 2.
Here at Minute Maid Park. And Inside the Game is brought to you by Comcast Business. We're looking at the pitch usage of Brett Overholter, and this is what it looked like in his last start against the A's. The curveball, using it around 31%. Changeup, maybe his best pitch, 9% there. And before I toss it up to the guys, I talked to Obi about his game plan today. He said not much will change because it was just Saturday that he faced these guys. He knew they would come in with maybe a different approach against him, so he was going to rely on in-game adjustments. Guys, what have you seen from Obi so far today?
Well, I contend that there are times when he throws, I think, his changeup, and it looks like a curveball. And so there's always room for interpretation as to what pitches are. But he is very good with the change. When he is on, that curveball can be deadly. I just think that when he's on, he's well ahead of the young pitcher coming to the big leagues.
Strike to Josh Donaldson. Donaldson ripped the 2-run homer in the first inning. So he's now 3 for 7 against Obi. Missing there. It goes to a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Donaldson, 28 years old, from Pensacola, Florida. Went to Auburn University. He's a converted catcher. That conversion took place in 2012. Two balls and 1 strike. Oakland got Donaldson in a trade in the middle of the 08 season. Last year he was second in the American League in slugging percentage against left-handed pitching, .631. Ground ball, and he slugs that one past Dominguez. That kicks back for the left fielder, AT HOU, and that'll give Donaldson the opportunity to get to second. The throw is high, and there's a double. His 9th 2-base hit. Homer and a double. It
certainly appears that Josh Donaldson is trying to pull Brett Overholter, and he's doing it effectively. So maybe the changeup, maybe busting him hard in off the plate and then working toward the outside is what needs to take place. But somehow you've got to get Donaldson out of this rhythm.
Hit number 5 for Oakland, and this will be the 50th pitch for Overholter. Yoenis Cespedes, the batter. He struck out first time up. He's a big part of this Oakland offense. Moves back from ball 1. Cespedes, the slugging outfielder from Cuba, hit 26 homers, drove in 80 runs last year. His first year in the big leagues in 2012, he had 23 bombs, drove in 82. In the third game of the series in Oakland, the Astros stopped his 14-game hitting streak against Houston. Foul back for a strike to Cespedes. It's been very interesting reading lately those stories about Yasiel Puig and his escape from Cuba and the subsequent problems he has had. Cespedes, Aroldis Chapman. The White Sox have 3 players from Cuba. We've seen quite an influx of talent from that country to Major League Baseball in the last 7 or 8 years now. Fly ball hits for shallow right field, and George Springer tracks it. Now backs up. 1 out.
Yeah, it's not like these guys are leaving the island on a cruise liner and coming in and availing themselves to the big leagues. There's a rather circuitous route being taken.
Yeah, and some of them don't want to talk about it because they feel that, you know, they have relatives on the island who may not be safe. So they have, in some cases, taken some major risks to get here. Derek Norris, the batter. Norris struck out in the first inning. Tigers beat the White Sox today 7-4 for Brad Ausmus. Well, Detroit has had shortstop problems. Foul away, they strike 1.
And they thought they were locked in for this year, but they had a young, talented shortstop, and boy, injuries come along.
Yeah. So they lost the young man from the Boston Red Sox for the season with leg injuries. And then they tried Alex Gonzalez. And now they have moved on. Norris platoons with John Jaso behind the plate. Whoops. Oberholzer spikes caught, and that's a balk. And that means Donaldson goes to third. Yeah, he brought his right foot through. The spikes caught in the dirt, and he stumbled. And that is a balk, and Donaldson's at third now with one out.
Yeah, when this happens, things are not going right.
Wow. And if he just thrown the pitch, it would not have been a balk, but who knows where it would have gone if he tried to throw it.
I bet he's already told himself that. Next time, just see if I can flip one to the plate, one hop it in there, whatever.
Soft liner into center field. That's going to be an RBI single and a 4-1 lead for Oakland. Well, Norris, after the balk, picks up his 7th RBI. And the A's have put together 6 hits already in this game.
Just reaching out and taking one of those pitches that some guys apparently just try to foul off. He decides to dunk it into center field. Good hitting on the part of Derek Norris.
Callaspo's next. Ground ball third, and a diving try, but foul as Dominguez went for it and laid out on strike one.
This is really close. Matt Dominguez obviously had no idea as to whether this would be fair or foul, and that's a great effort on his part.
Well, the 4 runs is a high for Oberholzer in a game this year. And he is not allowed more than 4 earned runs in a game in his major league career, this being start number 15 for him. Missing there, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Max Scherzer was the winner today for Detroit against Jose Quintana of the White Sox. Joe Nathan got save number 4. And Brad Ausmus's Tigers hanging right in there, despite losing the shortstop Iglesias from Boston. Fouled away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That AL Central pretty well packed. Everybody is within a game and a half. Detroit in first, then Chicago, Kansas City, and Minnesota 1 game back. Cleveland 1.5 back coming into play today.
Who do you like there now that you've had a chance to see 20+ games?
Boy. Well, you liked Cleveland, didn't you?
Well, I had them in the 2nd spot. They're just a little bit sneaky for me under Terry Francona.
I picked Detroit before the season started. So you're not allowed to change 3 weeks into the season, right?
Well, you are, of course.
Okay.
I still can't go against the Tigers, but I could see 2 or 3 teams winning that division.
I don't think we can go against Brad Ausmus.
No. Officer Brad.
Line shot to left field, headed for the seats, and that is in for a 2-run homer. Alberto Callaspo with number 3 of the season, and the A's are getting some great swings in this one. That's their 2nd long ball of the night. It's a 3-run third and a 6-1 lead.
Yeah, we talked about that last start for Oberholzer being so good, and now just really having a struggle as the club gets back home. And for whatever reason, the A's seem to be sitting all over it when he comes into the strike zone. But I don't feel like he's down around the knees as steadily or on the corners as we saw him in the previous start.
Now Brent Strom is headed out. Paul Clemens warming up for the Astros in the bullpen. Coming into this game, the Astros starting pitchers had collaborated on a 3.94 ERA. They had 10 quality starts. There's Clemens going to work. Chatted briefly with Scott Feldman before the game tonight, and as you know, he's on the 15-day disabled list with biceps tendonitis. He said he had that same problem in 2005, but it cleared up, and he's hopeful that He will only need the 15 days on the DL.
Off to such a great start. It's tough losing him at any point. But especially, I think, early on in the season while the club is struggling and trying to get their feet on the ground, establish themselves, if with nobody else, with themselves.
Craig Gentry bats. And it's ball 1 to Gentry, who doubled and scored in the second inning. Well, he went from one AL West team in the Rangers to another in a trade. And now coming over Guzman, he looks at it as it bounces on the Astros dugout, goes up into the seats, and it's a 1-1 count. Gentry last year for Texas wound up hitting .280. And it was a strange ride to get to .280. He hit .216 before the All-Star break, .338 after the break.
It's supposed to be who you are, but that says you're a little schizo.
Yeah. 2-1. Now, what would you do if you hit .280 and had that kind of split?
Throw a party.
Feel pretty good when you went home because of what you did after the break, right?
It's the way you finish. It doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish.
Pulled to third, off the glove of Dominguez. He throws from foul territory, throws a changeup way over Guzman's head, bounces out of play, and at second base, Gentry on the error by Dominguez. It's a two-base error, apparently a double error. Yeah, they gave him 2 errors. One on fielding and one on throwing.
So you don't feel bad enough already if you're Matt Dominguez. Now they drop 2 errors on you, and it's one of those plays where it happens. That's assumed to enable the guy to reach, and you can see on the throw, had it been a good one, it still wouldn't have been in time.
Well, Dominguez had only 1 error all season. Now he gets 2 on this play, and the Astros have 3 for the night. Brandon Moss, the batter, with 1 out.
You know, Brownie, one of the things we have talked about tonight is getting ahead on these Oakland A's hitters, and that's now 9 for 17 on first pitches, throwing it for a strike. And it's not a good formula at all for facing this club, or any team for that matter.
Big cut there by Moss. 1-1.
Keep in mind, this defense for the Astros was ranked first in all of Major League Baseball coming into play tonight.
4 unearned runs have been allowed by the Houston club in 22 games before this one. First error of the night. The George Springer throw did not lead to an unearned run. And Moss swings at that one. 1-2. And everybody feels especially bad after an error when there's a struggling pitcher on the mound. He really needs those plays made behind him so he can get out of the inning. Runner breaks for third. Here's the throw from Castro to Dominguez. Safe. Stolen base by Gentry. He continues his run of steals. 4 for 4 this year.
You know, I would love to know what goes on with home plate umpires when a guy takes off running and the catcher has to throw. Look at this pitch. It's right through the middle, and I don't think there was a debate about it being low, for me anyway. Maybe on that slider, but clearly a ball called and no shot for Castro whatsoever.
16 straight steals for Gentry. Now the infield comes in. That's 11 straight for the A's. Ground ball and backhanded there by Guzman. He takes a look at the runner who holds, tags him out, and gets Moss. 2 outs.
On April 25th against the Athletics, 10,000 fans will receive an Astros golf umbrella. That's courtesy of HEB. Stick around after the game for Friday night fireworks presented by the Marathon Oil Corp. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com to get your tickets.
Now with 2 outs, the infielders drop back. And the batter's Nick Punto. He bounced into a forced play in the second inning. 6-7-0 for Oakland, 1-3-3 for Houston. All the way for strike one. The Mets beat St. Louis 4-1. You know, Terry Collins, with all the injuries that club has had and in a rebuilding situation, has his team holding right in there in the NL East at 12-10.
It seems like a tough division for the Mets to win.
Foul pop, Guzman over. And he won't get a shot at it. This will be the 25th pitch of the inning for Obi, and Brent Strom talks about taxing innings for pitchers, and when they get over 30, that's considered to be pretty good duress in an inning. Well, the way things have gone, and with Clemens warming up in the bullpen, the Astros may choose to end that night. We'll wait and see what the decision is when we get to the fourth. A couple of days off coming next week, and that will be welcome. There have been a lot of April games this year. It's 1-2. Jared Cozart went 6 2/3 innings yesterday. Valdez, Qualls, and Fields working in relief. Colin McHugh 6 2/3 the night before in a gem of a game. Dallas Keuchel worked 6 the night before that.
What was that little finger dance Castro had going on in the glove?
Couldn't tell. What do you think it was?
I don't know. You know, if it was somebody else, a pitcher, I would think there might be something tacky in there and trying to just gain a little grip advantage.
So Michael Pineda suspended for 10 games now for smearing pine tar on his face, or on his neck.
You can't make that kind of a mistake. You can't have pine tar on the face, on the neck.
No. Too obvious. Struck him out looking to end the Oakland third inning. They get 3 runs on 3 hits with a double error and a man left. And it is 6-1 A's.
George Springer coming up first for the Astros here, who's going through his first slump in the big leagues. His career just 8 games young, but somewhat of a slump as he's hitless in his last 14 at bats coming into today. So last at bat would be 15, and I asked him about this. He said he's not pressing. He actually doesn't feel that bad. And you take a look at this graphic. He's been fouling off a lot of pitches in the zone. What this basically means is he's very, very close. He told me he's just missing balls by a fraction. It's just a tiny little timing thing. The hitter he is, he says it's something he goes through every once in a while, so he knows he's close. Nothing to worry about, guys.
Thanks, Julia, for that. 6-1 ball game. Scott Kazmir on the mound with that good backing from his teammates. Springer was hit by a pitch on the 0-2 first time up. And there's strike one.
for my eye watching George Springer. Number one, I just think he has a world of talent, and I think he has a chance to become one of the next huge stars in the game. I'd love to see on the hitting side him get off that back foot a little bit. It would help him stay through the baseball a little longer. There's the swings and misses from George Springer, and you can see there are plenty. And he, as things are currently constituted, is going to strike out quite a bit. But he's going to do plenty of damage along the way.
There's a big cut, 1-2. So we saw a lot of off-speed swings and misses on that chart, right?
Yeah, and I think probably if you went to each one of those, they might be, for the good part, 2-strike breaking balls that are intended to pick up the swing under the knees.
He's seeing more junk than Sanford and Son.
Uh-oh. Not piled up in the front yard, hopefully.
1-2 for Kazmir. Kazmir had allowed a 173 batting average in his first 4 starts.
How many kids out there right now have no idea who Sanford and Son were?
All those kids under about age 35. It's high for ball 2, and it's 2-2. Bartolo Colon won another one for the Mets today. 4-1 over St. Louis. He beat Lance Lynn, who was the first 4-game winner in the National League. 3-2. And the save went to Daisuke Matsuzaka.
Daisuke's back.
How about that?
The gyro ball now in the bullpen in a theater near you.
Does the gyro ball have pine tar on it?
Oh, man. There's a story.
Fly ball to right center field. Gentry moving over. 1 down. Jesus Guzman is next. He struck out looking in the first. That was with the bases loaded and 1 out. A big strikeout for Kazmir. Then he walked Carter with the bases loaded for the Astros run. As they left 3 in that first inning, the Astros have been hitting 164 with runners in scoring position coming into this game. Now back for strike 1. Cincinnati beat the Pirates 2-1 in Pittsburgh today. 1-1. Reds are now 11-11. Pirates are 9-14. Milwaukee has bolted out in front of the pack in the NL Central. Lazy foul pop, heads for the seats. Donaldson over for a shot at it, but not really. It's about 8 rows back. 1-2.
Pirates had some early season, late inning, extra inning heroics, and I thought they were off and running again. They've got some work to do.
They sure do. Ryan Ludwig had a 2-run double in that Reds 2-1 win, and Tony Cingrani was the winner. Jonathan Broxton got his 4th save in the absence of Aroldis Chapman.
I like Cingrani a lot.
Hard throwing lefty. Guzman is down, and it's strikeout victim number 5.
Great guests, hot topics, and no holds barred debate. Kevin Eschenfelder serves it up every single night. Sorry about that. On Sports Talk Live at 5 p.m. Only on Comcast Sportsnet. Tomorrow night's guests are Jorge Vargas, Ken Hamilton, Brian McTaggart, and of course Brian McTaggart from right here at Minute Maid Park.
B-Tag's in the studio. Must have a rare night off from covering Astros baseball now. No, he could do that and still get out here.
He could do it from anywhere.
That's right. That show's on at 5, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, he'll be a double duty guy. Chris Carter had the bases loaded walk. That's a hanger out to center field. Coco Crisp pulls it in for out number 3, and after 3, it's 6-1 Oakland.
of the fourth, and we want to remind you to log on to csnhouston.com to check out Astros in-game live, where you can follow the action like never before. Our own Howard Chin is hanging out in the Crawford boxes. He's our social media guru. Howard, tell us a little bit more about Astros in-game live.
Yeah, in-game live is going beyond the batting average. Like, I was just checking out Scott Kazmir, and according to in-game live, it says that hitters have had more success on his changeup than any other pitches. For example, a 217 batting average. Now, in-game live, you can also vote for the player of the game, and so far, Chris Carter is the leading Astro there. Your choice is revealed on Astros Postgame Live. So go to csnhouston.com and vote. Brownie, I'm going to send it to you.
Thank you, Howard. You've been doing double duty on Astros and Rockets for a while now. There's ball one with Coco Crisp the batter, 6-1, Oakland. Oberholzer coming back out for the fourth inning, and he falls behind 2 balls, no strikes. Crisp had an RBI single in the second. He's 1 for 2.
Rather raggedy first 3 innings, 23, 22, and 28, the pitch totals in those first 3, and that won't get you very deep into many games.
Total of 75 right now for Obi. 47 strikes. 3-0, and yet you consider the options. A game like this, I think a lot of times, as you might be able to confirm or deny this, it's a chance to give Oberholzer a clean inning, maybe to finish the night. Something positive to take forward.
Well, you get close to that 80 pitch total anyway. Why not complete a night of throwing? And as you say, and I think that's a great point, see if you can finish on the positive, have that one good inning and say, okay, that's all right, Obi, bring that inning back next time.
VR. One down.
He's doing the right things. You just see so much more polish now and smoothness about his work at short.
And that play provides a good example. He took more time than he did last year on a routine play.
Instead of dressing it up, making it look fancy, and kicking a baseball, watch the time taken. Footwork, get it done, shorten the distance of the throw, and it winds up being an easy play.
Jed Lowry, the batter, he's 1 for 2. Out to right center field, a long run for George Springer into the gap. That's landing and going to the bullpen wall. Springer picks it up just short of the wall, and it's a double for Lowry. Lowry 2 for 3 tonight. 7th double of the year for Jed Lowry.
Talk about perfectly splitting the gap, because this is just kind of a fly ball, but you couldn't split it any better. Could see Fowler a bit toward left center field, and it really left nobody moving toward that gap. Yeah, that's a fly ball that doesn't even reach the warning track.
5 of the 8 Oakland hits have been for extra bases. Josh Donaldson, the batter, he has 2 of those, a homer and a double. Altuve straight up the middle on Donaldson, who's been pulling the ball tonight. And there's a foul, strike 1.
Talked about trying to change things up on Donaldson, and that's exactly what Obi does. He starts him with the changeup. Very aggressive swing. That is the way this guy goes about business. It's very much like what George Springer attempts to do. But you watch how he gets off that backside and drives through the baseball.
Way inside. 1-1.
That's one of the pitches that I mentioned. Come in hard off the plate, and now try to see if you can work away and make that work for you. But you can't leave something through the heart of the plate up a bit on this guy. He's going to destroy it. Legitimate free swinger.
.76 walks last year for Josh Donaldson. It's 2-1, and Castro will go out.
That body coming forward for Donaldson. That's perfectly fine, and in fact I think very good, provided your hands stay back.
Four Quarters Club off a 2-4 road trip, starting a 9-game homestand tonight on a beautiful night in Houston.
Those 2 losses on the road, the 9th inning affairs that saw the games get away with the bullpen trying to come in and close them out. really had to have an effect on Bo Porter and the staff, not to mention the guys on the club.
Tomorrow night is Brad Peacock and Jesse Chavez, and it's a 7-10 start. Chavez has been just about as steady as anybody in Major League Baseball. 1-0 with a 1.38 ERA. Pitched a fine game against the Astros in Oakland.
You're talking about a guy who has bounced around and couldn't find a home. Goes to the Oakland A's, as they so often do. Somebody dons their uniform and suddenly starts pitching great baseball.
Saturday night it's a 6-10 start for Dallas Keuchel and Dan Straley. Sunday at 1:10, Tommy Milone goes for Oakland. The Astros are still to be announced. It's probably Colin McHugh though Sunday, right?
Would think so. I would say he's earned it.
Boy, didn't he pitch well.
That was really impressive. That Seattle club is in a huge hole. Just not playing good baseball at all.
What are your impressions after seeing the new Mariners with Robinson Cano?
I wasn't impressed. For the moment, Robinson Cano is not having much of an impact on that club. Corey Hart is also there. But offensively, they were pretty feeble in that series until the 9th inning of Game 3.
Kyle Seager drove in all 5 of their runs yesterday. 3-run game-winning homer in the 9th. That's ball 4. Donaldson aboard for Cespedes now. First walk of the night for Obi.
Starting to turn itself into one of those innings that you can't feel good about if this is the last inning that Obi works.
The phone call went down and Paul Clemens is headed for the bullpen mound again. Cespedes has struck out and flied to right. Minnesota won 9-7 at Tampa Bay. Ricky Nolasco beating Eric Bedard. Glenn Perkins getting save number 5. Now Strami's headed for the mound. Bedard, the former Astro, gave up 4 runs, 5 hits, and 5 walks in 4 innings. That was the 8th time in 10 games that Tampa Bay starter went 5 innings or less. And the people who picked Tampa Bay to win the AL East did so primarily because of starting pitching.
If I'm not mistaken, one Bill Brown may have been on that list of pickers.
Oh, yeah.
But
right,
yeah,
right.
Everybody assumes that Tampa Bay is going to pitch well. It's not a given. It's one of the parts of the game that I don't know if there's any way around it, but everybody on the mound knows that the pitching coach is out to buy some time for his guy in the bullpen to get loose. And just frustrating, nothing to say moments on the hill.
Cespedes back in the box. The Oakland A's did a lot of international scouting. And Cespedes played for the Cuban national team. Infield has shifted around, playing him to pull. He's been a big-time weightlifter. That's foul. There's strike 1. It's really intriguing, though, to follow these Cuban-born players, Cespedes and Puig and Aroldis Chapman and the others. Diane Viciedo, Abreu, the new first baseman with the White Sox. You know, try to project what they'll do in Major League Baseball after not having played in the minor leagues. A lot of money has been spent to import this talent.
Easy to say, they're very talented players.
He went 0-2. And then there are cultural issues. And there are people who have come from poverty-stricken backgrounds, and all of a sudden money has been lavished on them. And how do they handle that? And how they handle sometimes having members of their family still in Cuba.
Sometimes you get in the car and drive really fast.
One and 2. Well, reading the Puig story, there might have been a reason for him to drive fast because people might have been after him.
Yeah. That's a troubling story.
Boy. And story of crime being involved, crime figures, crime families, international intrigue, and they say you owe us money for some of your signing bonus goes to us for getting you off the island, that kind of thing.
When in reality, nothing wrong is done by the ball player. He's just trying to make a life for himself.
Right.
And needs people to help him along the way, and those people have their hand out.
1-2 to Cespedes. Yeah, playing the game of baseball is hard enough without all the extraneous activity. And there it is for a strikeout. Number 4 of the night for Obi. Derek Norris will be next. Norris 1 for 2, an RBI single to center field. Corey Kluber and the Indians beat Kansas City in Cleveland 5-1. Bruce Chen the loser. Chen originally was to have started one of the games here, and then the Royals changed their plans. Apparently he had been bothered by some back and hip stiffness, so they moved him back in their rotation. Kansas City club looks pretty solid though in the starting rotation overall.
How about that bullpen? They will bring some arms at you.
Yes. 95, 97.
Danny Duffy came in throwing 97, 98. A left-hander out of the bullpen. That's just incredible stuff.
He had been a starter, and we were hearing that Doug Henry, the bullpen coach, said that's the best he had ever seen Danny Duffy in this series.
One of the best left-handers, short of Billy Wagner, that I've seen come out of a bullpen.
Yeah. Now it's Norris with Callaspo on deck.
Of course, I guess Aroldis Chapman might fit the bill on that one in terms of throwing hard out of the pen for a lefty.
No doubt.
I haven't had the pleasure of laying my eyes directly on him other than on television, but it must be a pretty impressive sight.
What was really impressive too was seeing Matt Dominguez rifle a couple of balls out of the ballpark off him in late inning situations. 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, that takes some bat speed.
In Washington, they go to the 9th, and it's San Diego 3, Washington 3. Nationals, with all that ton of talent, will be coming here next week.
What do you think of Bryce Harper? What's going on now at this stage of his career?
Interesting to see it. And all that talent's been on display with the previous series, with the Angels being in at Washington. Pujols hitting his 500th homer, but it was the Trout situation. Trout coming in, acknowledged as the best player in the American League, and then Harper, thought by some to be one of the best players in the National League, on display against each other in one ballpark. Oh, he's a superb talent, no doubt. There's another walk to load the bases now, but pulled from a game for not hustling a few days ago on a ground ball back to the pitcher. And there have been other episodes involving Harper, and so much is expected of him. It's just difficult to live up to those expectations. Now Bo Porter will go to the bullpen with the bases loaded and 2 outs. He's had Paul Clemens warming up. It's Oakland 6 and Houston 1, and we will take a look at the man who received the 10-game suspension for pine tar on his neck, Michael Pineda. First of all, we go back to the time when he had it on his hand.
That's dirt.
Oh, it's dirt,
Brownie.
Okay.
You're trying to impugn the young man.
That's some tacky-looking dirt.
Yeah.
Now it's on his neck.
That's just not going to fly. I'm not sure what got into him thinking, you know what, I think I could pull this off. John Farrell wasn't fooled.
Well, when it gets that obvious, and there are cameras all over the place, and the people in his video room are telling him, Skip, this guy's got pine tar on his neck.
Then you start putting your right hand up to the neck to touch this area. Yeah, that's pine tar. Watch him say, that's pine tar.
And Pineda apologized after the game for a bad choice. And then Joe Girardi turned that camera around. Apparently the camera was looking up the tunnel, and he might have applied it. Girardi said he was not using the pine tar in the first inning, but apparently was having a problem gripping the baseball. So then he applied that, and Girardi didn't want that camera pointed up the tunnel anymore, evidently.
It's amazing what umpires will find at times, though, when they go out to the mound. Take, for instance, I don't see anything wrong with this tool. Yeah, you can go ahead and hang on to it. What's under your hat? Okay, that'd be hard to use in that form. See, the hat even doesn't sit right. So it just seems to me like it's easy to pick it up.
But we digress. And we go to Howard Chen now. Howard?
Yeah, guys, you guys were just talking about this Michael Pineda incident, and I couldn't stop thinking about it after I saw that video footage from last night and seeing the pine tar on the neck. I mean, how obvious can it get? So that led into the Twitter question tonight, and I want to ask all you baseball fans out there, what'd you think of the Michael Pineda pine tar incident? Because personally, I'm still in shock. So tweet me at HoChanCSN. You can also leave your answers on our Facebook page, facebook.com/CSN Houston. Social media, we have you all taken care of. Brownie, back over to you.
Well, yeah, it will be interesting to see what reaction we get. And there you have it on Twitter. But I think the general consensus that we've been reading about, and we've talked to a few people about it, is that hitters don't so much mind, even though it is illegal for a pitcher to go to pine tar. But if it's to get a grip instead of hitting them with a pitch that got away, that's understandable. But that was very obvious. Now Clemens comes in for the third time with 7 1/3 innings under his belt.
Well, you simply can't stick it in everybody's face. And that was the kind of ridiculous part of the whole deal. Paul Clemens trying to work his way back onto this pitching staff as a regular member. And looked like Castro got crossed up. It just happens far too often on this club. I honestly don't get it.
Aspo, switch hitter, turns around to bat left and takes ball one. They talk about it. Runner at second, so the long series of signs here.
You see, one's a fastball and 2 is your breaking ball. And if you have 2 of them, 3 will be the other.
Okay.
And the wiggling of the fingers is generally the changeup. And we've got these ways of masking those with a man on second base. It just, it's surprising what has gone on with the cross-ups.
So what would be the typical way with a runner at second of delivering that sign? It would be the third sign he puts down? Or
Could be the second sign, third sign, could be first sign after the number 2. It could be, there are ways that you can roll signs around. So after you get past the number 4 or 5, for example, if you counted the first number, if you threw a 3 down, and then every number you threw down just became a 1 that adds to it and rolls over at 5 back to 1 again. Okay. And so you can have sets of signs like that. There are some very intriguing signs some guys will come up with that have to do with the count.
And then we've seen situations of the pitcher adding or subtracting to the number that you put down by pushing his glove against his uniform.
The only guy I ever played with who did that consistently was Gaylord Perry, and he was great. And I loved that Gaylord did it because it sped things up. You put down a sign, he didn't shake at you 5 times. He just simply told you what he wanted by adding or subtracting. And the way you can do that is by having that roll over at 5 kind of a scenario, or roll over at 4, whatever you want it to be. So if you happen to give the number 4 and you're rolling over at 5, if he adds twice, that goes 5-1. Or you can subtract and go the other way. And it just makes it very simple. At least it was for me. I've seen some people who just felt like, no, that kind of fritzes the mind.
Swing and a miss, and Clemens gets out of trouble by striking out Callaspo. It's no runs, a hit. 3 men stranded, middle of the 4th inning, 6-1 Oakland.
It's 6-1 A's over the Astros. Bring man's best friend to the ballpark for Dog Day this Sunday, April 27th, and enjoy a pooch parade, a vendors expo, and much, much more. Get Dog Day tickets today by visiting astros.com/dogday. I'm excited about this one, guys.
Are you bringing your dog, Julia?
I wish I could have a dog. I travel too much.
Well, Ash has a dog.
Ash?
Yeah, you could adopt him.
Okay.
No, you can't. No, he's not getting away
Not
from
up
us.
for adoption.
He is our child, and I would love to bring him out. Well, Julia would be just hugging all over on him.
I'll babysit him during the game. He can sit with me.
You would just love him.
If you could bring him out Sunday, then we'll all spend some time with him, and we can share your dog.
Big, strong 17-pounder by the name of Samson.
Matt Dominguez leads it off, but I have a question for you, Julia, as Matt bats, and he struck out in the first inning. And there's strike one. We have some exciting news coming up. A week from tomorrow, it's going to be National Jersey Day. And you've heard about this, haven't you, Julia?
Yes, I have.
So we know that Astros fans are being encouraged to wear their jerseys that day to work or wherever, right?
Right.
And you're going to get a jersey.
That's what I hear.
Don't be so agreeable down there, Julia.
Yeah,
I'm excited. Does that mean I can wear it because
you
this
can
is
wear
work?
it. Yeah, you can wear it at work that night, a week from tomorrow.
Oh, this is exciting.
And you can wear it all day if you want to.
Are you guys going to wear one?
We will be wearing ours.
I got my Bill Brown jersey ready to go.
Diving Donaldson got his glove on it, but can't make the play on Domingo. And that'll be a 5-game hitting streak for Matt Dominguez.
Donaldson, very active down at third base and very willing to dive to make plays. Just can't quite get to this one. Matt Dominguez just kind of creeping along, trying to get things hot. There are moments when I think great swing in watching him go at it.
LJ Ho's the batter. He struck out in the second inning. And that is ball one. Julia, do we know which Astros jersey we're going to be receiving yet? Is it this white home uniform, or do we know?
That's a great question. I don't think I know.
Okay. Well, that'll make it more fun then.
Yeah, surprise. I need to know what color shoes to wear, so I should probably ask somebody.
It doesn't really matter. You wear your green ones with any color.
My winning shoes.
Now that brings up the age-old question about shoes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Ground ball third, Donaldson to second, and then there's the turn and the strong throw by Punto for a 5-4-3 double play. Julia, do you match your shoes to what you're wearing, whether it's pants or a skirt or your blouse? What do you? Because for men it's different, as you know.
Oh, that's a lot going on. Well, I try not to wear the same thing every day. I've got lots of different colors and everything, so it's usually what I'm wearing, my dress or whatever.
All right.
So you've been hanging around Dexter Fowler, who's taught you a little bit about not wearing the same thing every day, right?
Oh my goodness, he has serious shoe and clothing game.
Didn't know that.
Well, he is.
Yes.
He is prime on the road.
Jonathan VR with foul ball. There's strike one. Did you have, let's see, you had Shoes Pittman as a teammate, didn't you, Ash?
I did.
When you were playing?
Yeah, we called him Skates at times because I think it was in Philadelphia. A couple of balls came his way and he was sliding all over the place. So he became, instead of Shoes, which was his nickname, he became Skates, and that kind of stuck quite a bit.
Sometimes these nicknames don't really follow the truth, though. Did he, in fact, have a lot of shoes?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you, and I remember him telling us what the Shoes nickname was all about, but don't recall now. So I hate to embellish.
VR strikes out. That'll do it for the fourth inning. It's a 9-pitch inning, and it's 6-1.
In history is brought to you by MD Anderson, making cancer history. This guy was kind of good, and kind of one of my heroes anyway. Sandy Koufax, one of the great Dodgers of all time, didn't play long, but when he played, he was so great. Ties the major league record by striking out 18 in a 9-inning game as the Dodgers beat the Cubs at Wrigley. Record would stand until Roger Clemens struck out 20 in 1986. Pretty darn good stuff, but the elbow blew out way too early. Where was Dr. Job then?
Craig Gentry the batter, Paul Clemens on the mound. Gentry's 1 for 2. There's ball 1. He had something called Raynaud's phenomenon. He had what, numbness in his fingers,
yes,
right?
Yeah. And I've talked to some people, asked if, and never the right person, if Tommy John surgery might have applied.
Liner to left field. That's in for a hit. Picked up by AT HOU. No, he does not pick it up. And now he drops it. So easily into second glides Gentry. It's a single and an error on Hose, his first of the year.
This major league leading defensive percentage is going to take a hit here this evening.
4 errors for the Astros tonight. They made 7 in their first 22 games and 4 in this one.
This ball just kind of eats him up. Then he gets a clean shot off the wall. I don't think that was going to help, and then struggled with that on top of it.
Now Clemens works to Brandon Moss. There's strike 1. Now Koufax was so dominant. Unfortunately, had to shut it down at an early age in that dominant career.
Have you seen my screen on my computer?
Yes, you and Mr. Koufax are pictured there.
He's my good bud.
Did he sign anything for you?
No, we're too close of friends for him to be signing things for me.
Okay. You were not with the Astros at the time that Terry Collins managed.
No.
Terry had been in the Dodger organization and knew Sandy well, and Sandy consented to come to spring training one year. And Kissimmee spent some time with the Astros. That's a good photo.
Wow, that would have been really something for me. A lot of young kids who don't know some of the history of the game probably didn't think much of it, but Sandy Koufax was it.
Oh, he was. Koufax and Gibson.
Drysdale, Marichal, some of the great names of that time.
Denny McLain.
Steve Carlton a bit later.
Foul fly ball, 1 and 2.
Yeah, how about Denny McLain winning 31 games in a season? Guys that lead leagues now are getting 33 to 34 starts. It's a very different game. And those weren't 6 or 7 innings and fly days.
No. What if Denny McLain were on a pitch count limit today?
He and his teammates would laugh it off. What?
And Sandy Koufax.
Yeah.
And Bob Gibson. What if the manager went out in the 7th inning and said, well, you're on 105 pitches.
So you say you're taking me out because I've thrown too many pitches?
Line shot into right center field. Springer over to backhand, and the run scores to make it 7-1. RBI single Moss. 17th run batted in for Moss.
These A's just seem to have the Astros number right about now. What do you do to flip things around?
You have to stop them first. And they hit 324, scored 19 runs in 3 games in Houston against the Astros. And then it's hard to outpitch them because their ERA is the best around.
Remember the Astros somewhere back in the early 80s just having a miserable time at Dodger Stadium. And we brought in the front office brought in a psychologist psychiatrist, I think, to win our minds over while we were out in LA. Went to a hotel and met with him, and we were supposed to do all kinds of intriguing things, including having our forehead stuck to the wall.
Dexter Fowler over in the left center. What?
At which point we were told that we could not pull ourselves off that wall. We were needed on the wall, but we couldn't pull ourselves off the wall. And so most of us did. We just, when told to try to pull ourselves off the wall, we just kind of pulled ourselves off the wall. And we were kind of shunned and taken into a room and bawled out, and it was time to merrily head on our own way. But yeah, Boy, we were being persuaded to win in Dodger Stadium, and some of us didn't take the persuading real well, I guess.
Coco Crisp was better. Could you give a demonstration of that?
I'd love to. If you can picture just being maybe a foot from the wall and pressing your forehead against the wall and then being told you cannot pull off of that wall. You can't do it. Go ahead and try. And so, like I say, most of us just kind of went like this, you know, and looked around like, gee, that wasn't as hard as it seemed. And yeah, it was one of those psychiatry things that really didn't come off that well. There were some who couldn't get their head off the wall, and I couldn't figure it out.
There must have been some talk in that clubhouse that night.
There was. Yeah. What happened to your forehead? Did you use super glue? Because I came off of there really easily.
Of all the tactics, that is just
very intriguing.
Bouncer to second. Altuve gets it onto VR. VR up and over, not in time. With the fleet-footed Crisp to double him up. It's out number 2 from 4 to 6. That is pretty hard to believe, Ash.
Yeah, we were being encouraged to find ways to find comfort with the stadium, as we find a little comfort with the force play here. But yeah, you know, and it was that kind of talk that kind of makes you chuckle if you're not so inclined to maybe to be hypnotized. I don't know.
Chad Lowry, the batter. And then there's the saga of Steve Sparks in spring training years ago.
It's not the phone book one, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, at least he didn't have somebody coming in there telling him, you can tear this phone book apart. Go ahead and give it a try and see if your arm falls apart.
Well, actually, that's exactly what happened. And they had, was it a psychologist who did this?
Oh, was it?
Well, it was someone who was supposed to be motivational, shall we say.
I'll be darned.
Talk to the team.
I see.
And the slicing foul ball, and that will be out of play. 1-1. Got everybody motivated to do great physical things, including ripping a phone book in half. Sparky tried to do it, and he dislocated his shoulder.
It was his left shoulder, he tells us.
Left shoulder, yeah.
It wasn't my right, it was my left.
Still hard to pitch with a dislocated left shoulder, even if you are right-handed.
Yeah. So there have been plenty of tricks out there to get teams out of slumps. And so I asked the question, how do you get out of this one that the Astros seem to have with the Oakland A's?
We have a couple of ideas not to try.
If you feel like you're getting stuck to a wall with your forehead, just stay there, I guess. Maybe that'll help you out of it.
This game can be tough. Swing by Lowry makes it 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the old saying, momentum is as good as the next day's starting pitcher.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah. And of course the Astros got some great starting pitching, or real nice starting pitching combined with some very poor hitting, one way or the other in Seattle, and you win some ball games and had a chance to win 3. Sure did like what we saw from Dallas Keuchel and Jared Cozart in that series.
Yes.
Oh, and not to mention Colin McHugh.
He was a buzzsaw.
Oh, boy, what a night.
3-2 with 2 outs. Guzman playing behind Crisp, who will be running on the pitch. 7-10-0 for Oakland. 1-4-4 for Houston. That's high and deep toward the Astros right center field bullpen. Springer on the run. That one hops the wall. It'll get another run home. And it's an RBI double for Lowry. Lowry's 3rd hit of the night, his 2nd double. Gives him his 8th run batted in. And it's 8-1. Lowry now has 6 hits in 17 at-bats against the Astros this year.
Jed Lowry doesn't need one of those bonfires that some teams use with their bats to heat them up and all that sort of thing. He's just simply finding this gap in right center field.
Did it in the 4th. He did it again here in the 5th to make it 8-1. And it's Donaldson now with a homer, a double, and a walk tonight. It's ball one from Clemens. Clemens in Oakland went 4 to third innings in relief in the 11-3 loss. Gave up 5 hits, 3 runs. He came in with the Astros trailing 7-0 in the first inning. He threw 76 pitches in relief that night. 2-0. There's an interesting article today, reading some of the clips about the Astros' piggyback starts in the minor leagues and wondering if that could ever work in the big leagues. Most teams would not be anxious to try that at the major league level, of course.
Think Denny McClain would have bought in?
No. But last year, with the Astros using that throughout all their minor league clubs, that was thought to be the first time in history that any organization has used the shared starts, so to speak, at every level. It had been done at A ball by some teams, but not at AA and AAA by one organization. And now it's not being thought of at the major league level for the Astros, but the idea of a Paul Clemens, we'll say, being in ready reserve, a long man in the bullpen, or Jerome Williams on another night, it's the same kind of an idea, and to keep them stretched out so that they might be in the rotation if needed. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, I just can't figure out why pitchers from 3 and more decades back, maybe even 2 decades back, pitched complete games and went deep and didn't seem to have the arm problems that we're seeing so readily today.
Yeah. 3-2. Now, we've talked about it with all the youngsters needing Tommy John surgery. Do you think that perhaps back in those days you're talking about, those guys when they were growing up probably didn't throw as much as a lot of the kids are throwing today?
Really intriguing, because I spent time playing winter ball, as so many players of my generation did, and it was those kids that threw 12 months out of the year down in the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and Venezuela who never got a sore arm.
Right. What about when those kids were 9 and 10 years old?
Yeah, I don't know. You know what you see. I can only speak for the Dominican, where I played a little winter ball, that the kids were out playing their version of baseball, whether it was with a stick or a real ball or whatever was going on. But they were playing baseball, and I mean, that was what went on with the kids.
Yeah.
So I would assume they were throwing when they were youngsters.
Maybe they played a little soccer. Also, that's ball 4.
Now time for the minor league report, brought to you by your local Honda dealers. We're talking about Carlos Correa and Rio Ruiz. Last 10 games for Carlos Correa, who got off to a nice start and then stumbled for a while. He's up to .326 now, and the on-base percentage coming up. He's been driving the baseball, and it's great to see Rio Ruiz, one of the names not known quite as much, but a third baseman who looks like he's coming along in a great fashion, hitting .356 in the last 10 games. These guys are swinging the bats, and I think they're anxious to get a phone call that says, we're going to move you along at some point. I don't know if that will come along anytime soon, but boy, it's good to see the youngsters, especially down at A-ball, who are playing so well.
They're not blaming those losses on Rio.
You can't blame it on Rio, Browning.
No. See, Rio for the season is hitting .320, 9 homers. Oh, wait a minute, 1 homer, 9 runs batted in. Carlos .303, 2 homers, 16 runs batted in. Now Yoenis Cespedes, after the mound visit, with runners at first and second, he's 0 for 3. That's quite a left side of the infield there for the Lancaster Jethawks.
That's it, let it go.
And ball 1.
Of course, I would imagine the offensive numbers at Lancaster there in the Cal League, a little bit like the Pacific Coast League, where you have to be a little careful in assessing what they mean.
Absolutely. Ballpark factors are used.
Isn't it funny, we talk about the PCL as if the ball flies 10 miles, and then you talk about Major League Baseball, the West Coast, and how you can't put up numbers.
True. Well, some cities in the PCL, of course, are very hitter friendly. Some are not.
You've got the elevated cities that really make the difference in the PCL, but when it all balances out, offensive numbers tend to reign.
Places like Colorado Springs, Las Vegas.
I don't even know, is Albuquerque still in that league? Tucson, the ball used to fly.
Albuquerque is. Tucson is not anymore. 2 balls and a strike. But then, you know, Oklahoma City's what? Not really hitter's park, right?
Come on.
Memphis.
Salt Lake City, is that still in that league?
Yes. Yeah. Salt Lake is a very good hitter's park. You know, I don't know that it is. I don't think it is.
That's it. Boy.
Fly ball to right center field. Springer is going for it. And there for the catch to end the 5th inning for Oakland. 2 more runs coming home on 3 hits and an error. 2 men left, 8-1. Sportsnet's presentation of Houston Astros baseball is brought to you by AT&T. AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. Well, Ash, just checking, the Salt Lake Bees are in the Pacific Coast League.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. I had to check that out.
Seems like there are changes in the leagues year after year, but yeah, that would be one of the real good offensive yards.
It is 8-1, 11 hits for the Oakland A's, 4 for the Astros, who have made 4 errors as well. Jose Altuve has one of those hits. That was in the 2nd inning.
What was the left field dimension in the old Sacramento ballpark that
don't know
gave up? I want to say 250, maybe even shorter feet to left field.
Really? That's ball 1 to Altuve. Twice he's hit the ball to Donaldson, who just backed up. How about the old Coliseum where the Dodgers first played?
Wally Moon shots. I see Wally Moon's going to play in the golf tournament next week.
Oh, good. Fly ball left center field. Altuve hits one deep, and that one bangs off the wall. Fielded by Crisp. A double for Altuve, his 5th of the season. And a 2-hit night for Jose.
You know, he just keeps swinging the bat aggressively, and he'll get his knocks. There's just no question about it. Yeah, he's a little guy, but he's a little guy that can play this game. And this very close to getting out.
Yeah, missed by about 2.5 feet, maybe. Something like that. And went on a long ride. That's hit number 5 for the Astros. Dexter Fowler next. Fowler has a single and a walk. And there's Kazmir dealing ball 1. Wally Moon changed his hitting style when he moved out to the Los Angeles Coliseum to play for the Dodgers.
I believe that was 260 feet to left field down the line, somewhere in that
Sounds
vicinity.
about right, with a very high wall.
60 or 90-foot screen up there.
Yes, big screen, right.
So you hit the high fly ball and it would go out, and if you hit a bomb on a semi line, it would be a single.
And I asked him one time, well, what did you do? He had been with the Cardinals and he was more of an all fields hitter, and And then he said, I would pull my hands in closer to my body and use that inside out swing and try to steer the ball to left field. And he did it very well. That's a liner to right field. And there's the catch by Gentry. 1 out.
At Lowe's, we never stop improving, and neither does Jason Castro. All-star a year ago, Jason Castro got off to a slow start this year. First 9 games, hitting 156. He's picking it up. I don't think he's there yet, but he will. 265 in the last 9, and the on-base and slugging follow as well. RBIs clearly coming along. Jason Castro can hit. That much, I assure you.
Well, we showed it earlier on his batting average on balls in play being 222. And he is 1 for 2 in this game. So statistics have shown that he is better than this.
Well, you remember early last year, we were making comments about how many balls he was hitting so hard to left field, left center field, not getting much for it, and then suddenly it came together.
Yep. Most hitters have streaky tendencies, don't they?
I think that's the nature of this game. And some people who have played the game will tell you nothing makes sense. Well, that might be going too far, but there are a lot of goofy things that you can't explain.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, in the first inning Tuesday night in Seattle, he got a pitch away from Erasmo Ramirez and hit it out to left field. And he'd been seeing a lot of pitches in, a lot of breaking stuff in tight, but he was ready to hammer on that one pitch. And he reacted very well to it. So I was going to ask you, if they're pitching you one way and your strength is the other way, are you, and there it is right there. Yeah. Are you assuming you're not going to get a pitch there? You still have to be ready to react like he did.
Well, I guess the latter. And there are times you'll think yourself right out of at bats. And that's part of the frustration when you see guys go back, sit on the bench, and you see that consternation going on. You'll think yourself out of so many at bats by saying, well, I'm not going to get this, I'll get this. And Castro gets the breaking ball from the left-hander. But yeah, it's such a challenging game. And I guess one of the only other things you can really say as a former player is it is so much more difficult down there, right where George Springer is going to step in, than it is watching from the stadium seats or on television. It's just a different looking game.
George Springer, the batter. He's 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch. And there's some more of that junk. That's ball 1. But he laid off it. Away. Not to say that junk can't fly a long way. If it's in the strike zone and he makes solid contact with it, he can provide a lot of his own power on an off-speed pitch.
You know what the fact of the matter is? Junk flies like crazy because you have a tendency of getting out in front, and both arms will be fully extended when you actually make the good contact.
Out to center field for Crisp. And in the 5th inning, it's no runs a hit and a man stranded. Through 5, it's 8-1 Oakland.
Over Houston, and it's time for our progressive fan of the game. I have Larry with me up in the stands, who is a big Astros fan. I want to start by asking how long you've been a Houston Astros fan.
1989.
That's a long time, and you're rocking an awesome jersey. It's a J.R. Richards jersey you have on right now. Big right-hander. Tell me why this one.
J.R. once told me that he could throw a fastball through a car wash and it wouldn't get wet. So I said, okay, Mr. Richards, I'm going to buy your jersey, man, because I love that in you. It was awesome.
That's some respect. Well, enjoy the game. Thank you for being our fan of the game, progressive fan of the game, Brownie.
He looks good in that. Thanks, Julia. 8-1 ball game, Oakland leading. Derek Norris leads it off. He's 1 for 2, an RBI single, and also has drawn a walk tonight.
I can't verify that story about the J.R. Richard fastball.
VR backhands, throws on the run, gets something on it, but safe at first. Not quite enough to get there on the fly, but it wouldn't have mattered. Infield hit for Norris. Good effort by VR.
What an effort. And I mean, he just continues to make plays that you shouldn't be able to make. He comes very close on this one. Look at how far he goes. That's going a long way, and throwing from back of the third baseman, trying to make that play. Great stuff.
Did you see in that one angle from behind home plate where the right fielder was?
Actually, no.
He was over backing up the play.
George Springer.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been really hustling in so many ways. We saw the poor little soft toss into the infield tonight. I don't think that came from laziness. I think there was some question mark as to who he might be throwing to. But
right.
I want to get back to JR in a second, because I don't want him thinking the wrong thing. I can't verify that his fastball would go through the car wash without getting wet, but I can verify that not many major league hitters were able to make contact with it. He was really something.
We have some numbers coming in on what it would take for that to happen.
This is going to be really good.
Let's see George Springer backing up the play as he leaves his right field position and heads for foul territory. There he comes.
Impressive.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good work. And again, I'll point back to where VR was throwing that ball from. If you take a third baseman and push him all the way back to the grass, that's where that throw came from.
3-1. All right, we have the figures in. That ball would have to have gone through the car wash at least 523 miles per hour.
So you're saying a little ball-sized jet flying at that kind of a speed could actually fly through and not get wet?
That's right.
Wow.
We have it confirmed.
Okay.
By our statisticians. There's a smash on the ground. Guzman going to second. VR returning the throw to the pitcher. Clemens can't hold it. Oh, that would have been a spectacular double play.
VR gave him a good throw. And in watching the initial part of the play, I did not see Clemens when he came off the hill. Let's get a peek and see what it looks like. He starts right away. So he's coming. Throw from VR, maybe back toward the bag a little bit with Clemens heading toward the right field side. So that did make it tough.
His foot slipped too on the top of the bag. That threw off his stretch a little bit. Craig Gentry bats with the runner at first and 1 out. Gentry has 2 hits. LJ Ho's moving about 5 steps toward left center here. Broken bat looper. And that's strike 1.
You know, we were talking last half inning about what a crazy game this is and why it's so difficult to absolutely say things. And apparently there's catcher's interference right here. So everything just seems to be having a way to go wrong right now. And another error that costs.
So that's a catcher's interference. Foul ball on the play. So the pitch does not count. Okay, so he reaches.
Somebody doesn't want me to tell the story about crazy baseball, but last year we talked about numerous times the St. Louis Cardinals in that phenomenal year where they hit .330 with runners in scoring position. And I'll imagine that there were 50 statements at least made by the Cardinals hitters about how they love it, they live for that situation, and that's what they've been all about throughout their lives. Well, this year that same Cardinals lineup is hitting .238 with men in scoring position. And for me, it's the perfect back and forth, the yin and yang, what this game's all about. It gives and it takes back.
Yeah. Moss had an RBI single last time. That catcher's interference will count as an error. It's 2-0, which would be the 5th error for the Astros tonight. Unusual line score for Houston, 1-5-5. 5 errors in a game. Little roller. Clemens will cover. Here's Guzman with the underhanded toss. And that's out number 2 with the runners moving along. Callaspo to third and Gentry to second.
It's one of those tough plays that the ball comes to the pitcher at the very last instant. And what happened with Paul Clemens is he starts reaching with the right foot, trying to find the bag, and at least assessed to have gotten a piece.
That right foot is not finding the inside of the bag here for him.
Yeah, that's a very dangerous spot to land on. And then he looks like he tries to snap both ankles after the play's over.
Yeah. Retracing to the catcher's interference on Gentry. That's not a time at bat for Gentry. It is an error on Castro. And now it's Punto. Punto 0 for 3. If the batter had hit the ball, the offensive team could take what happened. Rather than everybody moving up one base, they could have moved up more than one. So you got a double. Strike one on Punto.
Great little bit of video with Joe Girardi catching. I think I saw it about a week ago. And somebody hit a home run after hitting his glove, and they opted to take the home run.
That's
Surprise.
right. Can't remember who it was, but I saw that too.
Yeah.
0-2. Well, you were reminding me of Andy Van Slyke.
Oh boy, he got me time and time again.
He reached any number of times on catcher's interference. He had that long swing.
I got to where I'd start pushing the umpire back, and he'd say, "Come on, you got to get closer to the plate." And I'd say, "I can't. He's going to hit my glove," and he would.
"12 hits for the A's. They lead it 8-1. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So anyway, I just wanted to get that Cardinal piece of stattery in there. There is a word like that, I'm sure. Must be.
There is if you say there is. J.R. Richard.
Well, if I think J.R. Richard, I think L.A. Dodgers. They folded when J.R. was heading toward the hill. It was over.
He beat them something like 13 times in a row.
Yeah. And just crazy stats.
Well, when you think of the hitters on that club, they had a lot of right-handed hitters, right?
They did. Steve Garvey, one of the great ones. They had
Say.
Ron Say and Davey Lopes, Billy Russell.
And he could back those right-handed hitters out of there by starting that slider right at their rib cage, right?
Could, and his windup was it created fear for right-hand hitters just to begin with.
Struck out Punto looking. No runs, a hit, an error, 2 men left, and we go to the bottom of the 6th, 8-1.
Come and see the Astros and the A's on Sunday, April 27th, and help kids in the Houston community who can't afford baseball equipment by donating new or used equipment at Minute Maid Park. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com.
Let's bring out the equipment and equip some kids who can't afford to get their own. Bottom of the 6th inning coming. It is 8-1. The Athletics lead. Scott Kazmir has held the Astros to 5 hits and 1 run. Jesus Guzman has struck out both times. Kazmir signing after Tim Hudson turned down the A's offer and took the Giants offer for $1 million more than what the A's had offered him. Ball 1 from Kazmir, and it's worked out very well for both. Kazmir now lives near Conroe, north of Houston. It's 2 balls, no strikes. The year he was a first-round pick, we talked about that, 2002. There actually was another pitcher at Cy Falls High School who was drafted in the first round as well, Clint Everts. That's quite a year for a high school team to have 2 pitchers drafted in the first round.
Yeah, that's really impressive. That's like the Matt Dominguez, Mike Moustakas infield in California that came out the same year.
Strike makes it 3-1 to Guzman. Well, starting pitching has really been at the forefront of the A's 13-8 start. Their starters have a 2.80 ERA combined. That's the lowest in the American League. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and remember they lost 2 starting pitchers. Jared Parker and A.J. Griffin are out with injuries.
Well, I said it earlier. It hasn't seemed to matter for the Oakland A's in recent years. They get some pitchers who pitch well. They move on at some point or get injured, and others come in.
Crisp in center field takes care of out number 1. Well, Chris Carter got rolling in that Seattle series. He always seems to do well at Safeco Field, Ash.
What is it all about? Is there a comfort about a certain ballpark because you've done well there in the past? Hard to say, but Chris Carter, his first 2 home runs on the season, and he just went back to launching. Problem is right here at Minute Maid Park last year, it was a miserable time for Chris, and here's where you really need him to find that stroke.
Bases loaded, walk and a fly ball tonight. There's strike 1. He really struggled last year in this ballpark. He had no explanation for it, nor did anybody else. Foul back. Coming into tonight, he had 26 at-bats and 3 hits for a 115 batting average. No homers, no runs batted in at Minute Maid Park. The Oakland starting pitchers have allowed 3 or fewer runs in 19 of 21 games.
Think of the pitchers who have gotten into an Oakland A's uniform and left to make more money or for whatever reason elsewhere, and the names that have come in here and pitched so well. I think Jesse Chavez probably sums it up best for this version of the A's.
Oh, he does. Broken bat. The bat flies into the seats as the grounder goes out to second. Punto throws him out. That barrel of the bat wound up about 10 rows behind the Oakland dugout.
Wow. That's about as dangerous as it gets.
That one flew a long, long way.
You get that sharp end of the bat twirling around. I don't care how skilled you are at catching flying objects. That skill will get beaten up with that thing.
Nobody hurt. In fact, somebody very happy.
Come on, Matty. Come on, Matty.
Matt Dominguez is 1 for 2. There's ball 1. So the Cubs had their 100th anniversary celebration of Wrigley Field, and Sammy Sosa was not invited.
Yikes.
He must have burned some bridges. 1-1.
Yeah, that sounds surprising. I think this number of years later. Shake hands, forgive and move along. So many Chicago fans became fans because of Sammy.
Cespedes in left field, waits for it. And it's a 1-2-3-6 for Kazmir and an 8-1 Oakland lead.
And as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tonight, Paul tweets, "Nice day at batting practice." Hashtag Astros fan photo. Hashtag Go Stros. Make sure to tweet your photo to hashtag Astros fan photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T. Browning.
Thank you, Julia. We have changes for the Astros. Alex Presley has moved in to play center field for Dexter Fowler. New catchers Carlos Corporon for Jason Castro. Coco Crisp is the batter in the 7th inning. And there's strike one. He is 1 for 4 with an RBI. Paul Clemens is in relief of Brett Oberholzer. Oberholzer in 3 2/3 innings allowed 8 hits, 6 runs, walking 2, fanning 4. He threw 93 pitches, 55 were strikes. Lowry and Donaldson due to follow here in the Oakland 7th. In the air, and that'll hang to left center field. LJ Ho's waiting for it. 1 out. The guy in Paul Clemens' shoes really has to take a hit sometimes on his ERA because Cole Porter does not want to keep trudging out there and go to the bullpen time after time. So Paul is going to have to give him innings regardless of how many runs the A's score.
And I think the bullpen might be a little short right now. Matt Albers has been having a little soreness in the shoulder.
That is behind Lowry. And remember that there was an incident between these two in Oakland where Clemens threw at Lowry and Lowry couldn't figure it out. So that one was behind him. Lowry had bunted in the 1st inning with a 7-0 Oakland lead, and the Astros took exception to it.
Yeah, and the thing about this play, Lowry said, "Look, it's just the 1st inning. We're still trying. Have you guys quit?" And that was a pretty quality effort. What really stood out for me was that the Oakland A's players, coaching staff, manager didn't come out and support him. A lot of question marks about what ensued here with the Astros and all, but it was one of those moments that came across as very selfish on the field.
Well, now Clemens has been ejected from the game for hitting Lowry with a pitch. And Lowry on that occasion talked with Bob Melvin about his thinking. He said the shift was on. It was the 1st inning. He was just trying to bunt along the 3rd base line, bring that shift back around. And then Clemens throws one behind him, grazes him with a pitch, and is ejected by Toby Bassner.
I would have thought this was done. all the responses happened in Oakland. I thought it was an episode that was history. But apparently Paul Clemens decided that maybe a little more needed to be extracted here. Ron Washington's not at all happy with what's going on. You know, come on, fellas. We just get along.
Well, Lowry obviously with a perturbed look on his face. It's Oakland 8, Houston 1. Anthony Bass coming in from the bullpen. We'll be back in a moment. We're here in the 7th inning. Jose Altuve, Dexter Fowler, and the Astros hit the base paths in search of a win against the comeback kids of Oakland. 3 games at 6:30, games at 7 only on Comcast Sportsnet.
And now tomorrow night's pitching matchup brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. It'll be Jesse Chavez, the guy we've talked about, now working very well in that Oakland A's uni, and he's off to a great start on this season. Pitched well against Houston. Brad Peacock goes back to the mound 0-2. You know what? That's an imposter in the Brad Peacock.
I think that's Alex Smith, isn't it?
It might be, but I'm not sure why Brad didn't want to show up for photo day.
Well, hopefully Alex White rather would be back. But anyway, here's Anthony Bass. He's pitcher number 3 of the night. Alex White's on the disabled list. Anthony Bass in 8 games has a 2.45 ERA. He inherits the runner at first, Lowry. And 1 out here in the 7th inning of an 8-1 game. And faces Josh Donaldson. Donaldson has a 2-run homer, a double, and 2 walks. Clemens went 2 2/3 innings, allowing 4 hits. He walked a man, hit a batter, struck out 2. And the runner at first belongs to him as Donaldson bats.
We need to get Sherlock Holmes on that case about why Brad Peacock was not where he was supposed to be, pictorially.
All right. We'll get on it.
There he is.
There's Brad Peacock.
He really looks different these days than back on photo day.
Pictured here and not there. Dan Otero's warming up for the A's, and the count goes to 1-1. Yankees lead the Red Sox 13-5. They're in the top of the 9th at Fenway. And Mark Teixeira hit his first home run. So the Yankees apparently shrugging off the Michael Pineda suspension and scoring big. Out to left center field. There's a long shot to left center field. That one will quickly leave the yard. It's a Donaldson homer, his 2nd of the night, 6th of the season. 3rd extra base hit of the night for Donaldson, and it's 10-1 Oakland.
Well, this guy's really good. There's no doubt about it. He's really aggressive, but he's getting some pitches to handle here this evening. 10 total bases.
And it's 6 home runs now for Donaldson this season, and 18 runs batted in.
Look where this pitch is. And that's really right in that same wheelhouse where we saw him hit the home run in the 1st inning against Obi.
Now 10-1 ball game, and it's Cespedes batting. Cespedes is 0 for 4. Bass delivering ball one. Anthony Bass has thrown the ball well for the Astros. He has a couple of saves. That's the first home run he has allowed. He's in his 12th inning. Paul Clemens in 2 2/3 innings allowed 4 hits, 3 runs, walking 1, fanning 2, and hitting a batter. Strike from Bass. That makes it 1-1. Anthony, a very pleasant addition to this ball club. The Astros picked him up from San Diego. And they dealt the #1 pick in the Rule 5 draft to get him. Patrick Schuster, a left-handed pitcher. Bass, of course, has been in the big leagues before, and he's fit quite nicely into this bullpen and can be used in a variety of ways, and has been. Ball in the hole. There's VR spinning, getting up, throwing, and safe at first, but that is quite an effort.
Just great stuff again from Jonathan VR. He's made a couple of plays tonight that, without being able to get the runner, still leave anybody who knows anything about this game of baseball totally amazed. He's got a great arm. His speed gives him range, and he's coming up with the plays now. And he was completely off balance there and still accurate with the throw.
That is superb. Cespedes reaching on the single. Hit number 13 for Oakland. Derek Norris has 2 of those hits, both singles and a walk. Has driven in a run. There's ball 1. VR playing hard in a 10-1 game. Still trying to make a great play. Padres and Nationals are tied 3-3 in the 11th. That's a strike, and it's 1-1. Be fun to see the Nationals next week in a brief 2-game series. Well, what a talented club. Steven Strasburg has struggled some. Now the trainer's going to come out. Cespedes apparently hurting at first base. Maybe trying to leg out that infield hit. He may have strained a muscle, Ash.
And he's had issues with some pulls in the past. He's a big guy. You start sniffing that infield hit, and that's when guys will run maybe beyond what they're capable of at times, just digging as hard as can be. Looks like possibly, as you say, hitting the bag, you can get that hyperextended knee. And I'm wondering, in watching him with that left knee, if that's what's going on. Hits the bag with the left leg, and that's where you'll hyperextend, right behind the knee. Tough injury to get healed over, too.
He's also been playing with a bruised right heel, but he has played every game this year. And he's coming out now. Oh, Josh Reddick is coming off the bench. Reddick will take over for Cespedes as a pinch runner. Good to see former Astro and Astro skipper Phil Garner out here tonight during batting practice.
I miss getting to see Scraps.
Scraps was working for the Oakland A's the last couple of years, but now he's decided to take some time off this summer.
I think he's enjoying life.
You bet.
He gets a chance to get out and play some golf, and he's darn good.
See his grandkids in this area.
Yep.
Ball 1 to Norris. Or ball 2, make it 2 balls, 1 strike with Callaspo on deck. Phillies and Dodgers are underway. No score in the top of the 3rd at Los Angeles. Well, Cliff Lee has been throwing the ball well for the Phillies. Now they got Cole Hamels back.
Think the Phillies have a chance?
They're awfully old, but yes, to answer your question, they do have a chance. A lot of talent on that club. It would be, of course, dependent on the likes of Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins being healthy all year, and those pitchers staying healthy as well. But if they are, they should be in the thick of it, wouldn't you think?
I would have thought Washington was the team to beat. I'm not so sure right now. Atlanta playing like they played last year.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't count the other clubs out. I can't see a team that I would say doesn't have a chance. I like some of the young pitching for Miami.
I think Atlanta in the National League and Oakland in the American League have outstanding starting pitching. will go out of play, and that gives them a chance to be in it. We take a look back at Yoenis Cespedes, who left this game after the play at first, and he's going up the tunnel now for treatment apparently. It's like he's walking with a bit of a limp there, Ash.
A little bit. As he came off the field, you could see it as well, but at the same time, I would say doesn't look like the kind of limp that I would anticipate was a real serious injury.
Well, you know,
let me check my diploma here.
All right.
I'll check in a second.
All right, Dr. Ashby.
Thank you.
There's a walk. Well, you know, in football, we played football against some of these star running backs, and sometimes they get up after being tackled and limp back to the huddle. And
yeah, that's when you're in trouble.
Right.
Yeah. Bo Jackson, I remember him being at second base in a spring training game, and I was catching, and I thought, you know, this is a spring moment I'm not ready for.
Callaspo, the batter. Well, unless you're ready to stand in a tunnel and wait for the train to come.
Yeah, that's about the way it was. Put blindfolds on me. I don't want to see this coming.
What a load he was. How would you like to try to tackle him all by yourself?
Gosh. What was his name? Linebacker that got blown up by Bo?
Can't remember.
No. I remember the line that was used about him when he got hit by Bo Jackson, but I won't say it right now. But just kind of tasteless a bit.
Bounce to the shortstop for VR. VR tossing to Altuve. Altuve on to Guzman for a double play. And Oakland adds on two hits with a man left. In the middle of the seventh, it's 10-1 Athletics.
With pine tar on his neck last night during the ball game and was ejected and subsequently suspended for 10 games tonight. Wanted your thoughts on Twitter. These were some of the better ones. Jeff Blogwell was extremely thoughtful. He tweeted, "It's a sticky situation for sure, but I think it went a bit out of hand. No need to wring his neck over it." Lots of puns there. How about JD1053? He tweeted, "Couldn't believe it. This day and age, he should have put it as a mustache. Hashtag pine tar pinata." I kind of like that suggestion. Thank you very much for tweeting me at Ho-Chan CSN. Brownie, over to you.
Thank you, Howard. And we're going to watch Sportsnet Central to hear that story about Jadeveon Clowney's college coach saying the Texans should draft him. Must be a position coach because his head coach didn't have very kind words about his work ethic. Well, we'll find out later from Corey in the game. And meanwhile, we have changes with Brandon Moss moving to left field from first base. And there are other changes as well. Josh Reddick is in right field. And then at first base, it's Derek Barton.
If you keep that talk up, you're going to create some interest in that #1 pick in the NFL draft.
Oh, there's no interest whatsoever right now.
No, but you're going to stir it up, I have a feeling.
Somebody needs to stir up the pot. There's nobody following this story. Otero in the game, and he gets strike one from LJ Hose after Scott Kazmir went 6, allowing 5 hits, 1 run. Walking 2, fanning 7. The Houston native with a fine outing tonight. And he limited the damage to just 1 in the first inning when the Astros loaded the bases with 1 out. AT HOU with a strikeout in that second inning, then bounced into a double play in the 4th. Jonathan VR would be due up next as Otero works. And foul back for no ball 2 strike count. Otero part of an Oakland bullpen, and you see Derek Barton at first base with 6 wins, 5 losses with a 2.48 ERA, but 6 blown saves, and that's tied for tops in the American League. 5 saves and 11 opportunities for the Oakland relievers. So they're back to bullpen by committee after signing Jim Johnson to be their closer.
Well, that's a quick plug pull for a ball club that actually has a winning record.
It is. But they have other people who are capable, and Jim Johnson has pitched well since he was moved out of the closer spot. There probably is every opportunity he will be returned to that position on the team. Otero, meanwhile, has never allowed a homer in 61 2/3 innings as a major leaguer.
That's a feeling you've got to get acquainted with.
Last year he started out at AAA Sacramento. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's from Miami, Florida. Lives in Coral Gables and went to Duke University and the University of South Florida. Otero, 29 years old. He was a 21st round choice of the Giants in 07. Oakland got him on waivers prior to last season. Still 2-2, and last year he made 33 appearances and had a 1.38 ERA for the A's. That's ball 3, 3-2. 14 hits for Oakland, 5 for Houston, 5 errors for Houston. Oakland has stranded 11. Houston has left 6. We're in the 7th inning in game 1 of a 4-game series. That's strike 3, and it's out number 1. Jerome Williams is warming up for Houston.
AT HOU has found himself getting caught looking a few times here in the early goings, and just have to find a way with a couple of strikes, especially in a ball game like this, to let it fly.
Jonathan VR is grounded out and struck out. LJ's gotten several starts here in the last week or 10 days. Alex Presley, who's been sharing time with him in left field, has come around. So it'll be interesting to see how that situation plays itself out in left field. Line drive toward the left field corner. VR has dropped one in off the wall. It bangs back toward the infield. He'll get into second with a double. No point in trying to stretch it. In a 10-1 game, VR hit one hard for his 5th double of the year.
May I speak the obvious? There it is, Jonathan. Let the bat fly. There's the line shot that we saw from VR quite a bit last year. Now, not necessarily off the wall, that sort of thing, but he can sting it going to left field from that side of the plate. This ball was really hit. And VR's been hurting. It hurts inside when you're struggling and you know you can do better.
Now Altuve taking all the way. There's strike 1 to Jose. The VR double, only the 2nd extra base hit for the Astros tonight. Hit number 6. Wrapped on the ground to third. Donaldson goes across. 2 outs.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD or over 400 devices. Visit Astros.com for all of your details.
Alex Presley comes up. He's on a 4-game hitting streak, and he's gone 7 for 14. Had a big series in Seattle. His batting average is .226. He has 2 homers, 5 runs batted in. In that Seattle series, he went 6 for 12 and drove in a run. And there's a strike for Presley. He missed the 3-game series in Oakland with the flu-like symptoms that have been sweeping through the Astros clubhouse. So Presley's coming on and bidding for more playing time. Charges one up the right field line. That'll hook and go foul. Well hit to that second deck up there, and then it caroms down. Let's see what we have lined up for the rest of this series. The lefty went tonight, Kazmir. Then right-handers the next 2 nights, Chavez and Straley. Then back to a lefty Sunday, Tommy Malone. So there's a pretty good chance Presley could be in that lineup Friday and Saturday night.
Saw him get some good swings against the lefty the other night. He's played well.
That's true. Bud Norris got his first win this season as an Oriole. 1-2. The Orioles waxed the Blue Jays in Toronto 11-4. Norris going to 1-2, beating Brett Cecil. Jonathan Scope hit his second home run for Baltimore. Rasmus number 4, Navarro number 1 for Toronto. Out to the right side, Barton tossing, and the pitcher Otero covering. In the 7th inning, no runs, a hit, and a man stranded. Moving to the 8th, 10-1 Oakland.
Over the Astros in time for the AT&T Rewind. This is a fun one too, guys. We're looking at some of the impressive catches made by fans today at the Astros game. That one barehanded. Was he holding his beer too? I'll have to look at it again. Another great catch by a fan. Some impressive stuff out there by these Houston Astros fans. Much more brave than I am too. How did they catch? Well, he's got a glove on, but how did they make those barehanded catches without hurting themselves? Because I would have broken a finger or something.
Didn't you have a problem being in the line of fire in Seattle, Julia?
I did. I got hit by a foul ball, Brownie.
On the leg?
Nice bruise on the leg, but I'm doing well. I went for a run this morning. Good to go.
Did you get some treatment?
I'm okay. Right. But there was no way I was going to try to catch it.
I told you she's tougher than she looks, Brownie.
She's also very smart.
Okay, you look tough too.
Yeah. No, but it's good to see these fans having a good time today and showing off the defense.
Yeah. Good some catches. All right, we go to the 8th inning. 19,987 of those fans. And Jerome Williams is on the mound. He's 0-1 with a 6.75 ERA, taking over in the 8th inning. Pitcher number 4 of the night for Bo Porter, facing Craig Gentry. Gentry has 2 hits tonight. And there's ball 1. Oberholzer went 3 2/3 tonight for the Astros, giving him 8 hits, 6 runs. Paul Clemens 2 2/3, allowing 4 hits, 3 runs. Anthony Bass 2/3 of an inning. 2 hopper to Matt Dominguez. That's out number 1 for Jerome Williams. And Anthony Bass in 2/3 of an inning allowed 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, no strikeouts. So Williams, the former Angel, former Giant, gets out number 1, and it's Brandon Moss coming up next. Moss 1 for 3 in RBI, and he was hit by a pitch. Scott Kazmir threw 93 pitches tonight for Oakland. 56 of them were strikes. Big Punto on deck, and there's strike 1 for Jerome Williams. Tomorrow night it's Brad Peacock and Jesse Chavez at 7:10 here. Infield is shifted around, and that one goes foul off his foot. 0-2.
So in a 10-1 game like this late in the ball game, you put the shift on defensively, leave nobody on the left side. Is it wrong to push a bunt over there?
You read that book called The Code that came out last year?
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Kind of interesting about the unwritten rules of baseball, but you know, they interviewed so many people for this book, as you would expect, and you know what you find is that teams like the Atlanta Braves might have a different code than somebody else.
It's true.
So it's hard to say universally that something should be observed. That's a strikeout looking. I believe the Braves under Bobby Cox, if they led by 6 runs or more after 7 innings, would shut it down as far as bunting and trying to steal bases.
Yeah, but some managers think it's 5 runs and some think it's 8.
That's right.
And you know, whatever the figure might be, and therefore a lot of belief systems get beat up with these unwritten rules.
Yeah, so the code is not universal for all teams. That's the problem. And so they differ sometimes when teams feel that other clubs are trying to run up the score. Ground ball behind first. And that's a quick 1, 2, 3, 8th inning. We go to the bottom half of the score, 10-1 Oakland.
Bottom 8, 10-1 A's over the Astros. 10,000 fans will be the lucky recipients of a Jason Castro bobblehead when the Astros and A's square off April 26th. Visit Astros.com for more details and come early to get your Castro bobblehead, courtesy of Xfinity. Ronnie?
How many do you think Maris will get? Maris Castro.
Should get a few, right?
I think about 400.
My goodness, that's a lot.
They probably have that many friends.
They do. They have a lot of family out in the Bay Area they need to get them to.
That's right. Drew Pomeranz is warming up. Dan Otero went 1 inning. He allowed 1 hit, no runs. With no walks and had 1 strikeout. And now the lefty Pomeranz is 1-1 with a 1.93 ERA. Comes in for the 8th.
Well, when you're the team that's winning, you get to kind of give some of your starters a rest. Even if you're trailing, you can do that as the Astros have tonight. But you also get to use that bullpen in the way that you would like, where guys get some needed work.
Pomeranz is coming in. Well, he came in yesterday, so maybe not needed work, but He had not pitched since back-to-back appearances April 15th and 16th, and then worked one hitless inning yesterday.
Or you can get abused as deemed necessary by the skip.
Carlos Corcoran coming up for the first time. We were talking about the code earlier, and Tom Kelly in that book, The Code, said that when his team was routing the other team, he did exactly what Bob Melvin is doing tonight. He got a lot of his regular players out of the game and put substitutes in who didn't get to play all that much.
I've got some huge beefs with some of that stuff.
All right.
You're the team that's trailing. Okay, it's 10-1, and the the leading team puts their first baseman back behind a runner, not going to cover him at all, not going to hold him to the bag, and you're not supposed to run because we are now in the no running scenario, but you're losing and trying to get back in the ball game.
Right.
It just wears me out on the wrong side.
Well, what if we just abolished the code and everybody tried to beat everybody's brains in every night?
I've said it so many times. I thought you were supposed to compete, and embarrassing somebody else, it's become a real part of the game. So I imagine a lot of guys would say, nah, you can't do that, but I don't know why.
Donaldson throws and gets Corcoran. Well, it's professional sports.
Well, I'm going to try for 9 innings. I'm going to try really hard. I'm going to try with the best I've got for 9 innings. I don't know. I don't have an issue with that, but you couldn't have teams play that way today.
I agree with you. Now George Springer, who is 0 for 2, and he was hit by a pitch, so he's now 0 for his last 16.
GOM. Grumpy old men.
Okay. Now, are you talking to me? Foul for strike one. Or
no, Robert, I'm not.
Who's included in that audience?
I don't know. Whoever was just speaking all that vitriol coming out.
What was the movie? Grumpy Old Men? Is that the name of it?
I was just labeling some people that were talking.
All right. Wasn't it? Was there a Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau movie?
Could well have been.
Yeah. It was Grumpy Old Men. So you were just quoting a movie title, actually.
I guess so. Yeah. I wasn't thinking that hard, and of course you knew that anyway.
Two balls and a strike.
I'd like to see an angry young man go ahead and attack one right here.
You like those angry swings, don't you?
I do. They can be well served at times.
It's 3 balls and a strike to George Springer. Drew Pomeranz, like George Springer, was a first-round pick. Pomeranz went the year before George. He was the number 5 overall pick in 2010 by Cleveland. Then he was traded to Colorado in 2011 and traded to Oakland after last year for Brett Anderson. That's a pretty good swing.
It was an angry swing.
3-2.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of frustration going around here. You ask yourself, what in the world is going on? I thought I was right on that pitch.
And ball 4. Springer takes his 4th walk. He's been on twice tonight. And Guzman will bat. Ace is 0 for 3 tonight. Pair of strikeouts and a fly ball to center field. All right, what does the code say here about holding Springer on first?
Well, they're not going to do it, so that's what the code says. And the problem is some managers just take it as if you've really wronged them if you go.
Okay.
And the Astros don't go. But see, the way I see it on the scoreboard is the Astros are trying to get back in this game. So that's always rubbed me the wrong way. You are winning, and you get to play your defense the way you want, and nobody should run against you.
Okay.
You like that?
I'd say take the base.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wouldn't worry about it one little bit.
But if he takes the base, are they going to drill him next time up?
I don't know. And that's the thing. You really don't know until next time up comes along. You know, and I could say this in front of 100 former Major League players, and plenty would disagree with me. I fully get that. Just my feelings about it.
2 balls and a strike. That is interesting. You're not supposed to swing at a 3-0 pitch with a big lead late in the game.
Angers a lot of people.
But what if you pop it up? No damage done.
I guess not.
You think Yasiel Puig follows the code? The line shot going foul.
Well, it's clear he lives life by it.
3 balls and 2 strikes.
Is there a driving code?
Well, okay, if you can't keep under the speed limit and you can't get to the ballpark on time, are you going to follow the code?
It's called the law.
Okay.
That's
more important than the code. You're right. All right, shucks. We'll just have to follow it. It's the law.
But I think they've written it, is the thing.
Struck him out looking. That's 2 outs. Good point. Second strikeout for Pomeranz. He's from Collierville, Tennessee. Went to the University of Mississippi. Let's see if we can get an opinion from our buddy Matt Clark.
Does he know Julia?
Yes, he does know Julia. He and millions of people.
That's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
That is a very good thing.
Wow.
Chris Carter with ball 1. Can you tell us what Matt Clark thinks of the code?
Matt has an old school thinking. His dad played for many, many years in the big leagues, so he thinks like his dad does. But he agreed that one should retaliate against Jed Lowry for what he did in that last game. So if that helps you out of what he thinks.
Okay.
You're talking about while the club was still in Oakland.
Yes, that day.
Now tonight, how does Matt feel about that?
I haven't had a chance to catch up with him.
Yeah.
Well,
he's been busy playing baseball.
See if you can
hit a lot of
get
home
to
runs.
him soon, because it's the 8th inning. 2-1. So see if they can take him out of the game so he can answer your question.
Matt, keep hitting those home runs. At some point, they can't deny you.
Yeah. But there are a lot of aspects of it that I think would surprise many fans. They wouldn't even know about the code. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Sometimes you can take a swing big enough that offends the opposition.
Well, Adrian Beltre would be one because he drops down on his right knee sometimes. And
some guys do it and get away with it. Others can't.
That's
and
right.
There's another part of the code.
Good point. I guarantee you, if Adrian Beltre were playing in this game for Oakland and he came up in the top of the 9th inning with, say, a 10-1 lead and dropped down on that right knee with a big swing, somebody would take issue with it, but then somebody else would say, wait a minute, he does that all the time.
Yeah. Well, but he shouldn't when their ball club is winning. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm fully with you, Brownie. I assume you meant it when you said, why don't we just abolish all these unwritten rules? How do you abolish something that doesn't exist?
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'll check that out. There's a bonfire I think we could probably throw that unwritten rule book into.
Okay.
See if we can see that bonfire.
Yeah.
It would work well in this case, I think.
Carter's down on strikes to win the 8th inning. No runs, no hits, and a man stranded. 10-1 Oakland after 8.
Astros, Dynamo, Rockets, and more. We have all your sports news covered. Check out Sportsnet Central every night at 6:10 at midnight on Comcast Sportsnet. Oh, doesn't that look fancy?
That does look fancy, Julia. We go to the 9th inning now. And it's a 10-1 ball game. Oakland leading. 19,987, the paid attendance here for game 1 of a 4-game series. And it's Coco Crisp's spot coming up, but he's not batting in this spot. It's Derek Barton right now up for the first time. Coco was 1 for 5 when he was in the game with an RBI and was lifted from the game when all the changes were made. Barton smacks one on the ground. Backhanded Altuve. Jump throw to first base. Out! Nice dig by Guzman on a one-hop throw.
Heck of a play by Jose Altuve, who continues to play errorless baseball out there. And this is spectacular. Yeah, watching tonight's game, I was actually looking around the outfield to see if any pitchers were getting their sprints in. Feels like a spring game, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Not for Jose, though.
Ooh, that's mighty good stuff.
And also not for Jonathan Villar, who's played hard at shortstop tonight.
Has he ever? Tough enough just to get there. Then to make that throw while you're moving toward the left field wall. Yeah, it's close, but really a nail biter there at the end.
Eric Sogard is the batter. First time up for him. There's strike 1 to Sogard, who plays a lot of second base for Oakland. 208 with no homers and 3 runs batted in. Harry Potter look-alike.
He was almost the face of baseball.
Yeah, that's true. Forgot about that.
You know how Jerry West is the emblem, the body for the NBA, or was? Have they changed that? They may have changed that in a recent couple of years. Anyway, long time. Sogard was that guy for MLB.
Okay. Altuve takes care of out number 2. As we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. It's been a big night for Josh Donaldson. 2 homers and a double, 4 runs batted in, and 2 walks. A perfect night at the plate for Donaldson.
He's really driven the ball around, and you know, we've said it all along. He's just such a free swinger. He's a great player. 4th in the MVP voting last year. And a lot of people probably don't even know who Josh Donaldson is, but he can really play this game.
Strike 1 to him. Jerome Williams has sat down 5 in a row. He came in the 8th inning. Wind is blowing out to left field. Very pleasant night here with the roof open. Pitch under the chin of Donaldson, and it's 1-1.
Well, Donaldson took a quick peek out toward the mound.
Yes.
And I really don't think anything is going on right about now. And I think in an instant he thought to himself, no, that this was not intentional. But you start thinking that way when you've had a teammate get maybe picked on.
Well, that's true. Foul back, 1-2, but sometimes pitches get away and they're not intended to be there. Very good manager, Bob Melvin.
Yes, he is. 2 straight American League West titles for this club, a club that many people just simply overlooked for lack of big names.
And the Oakland organization does an excellent job of choosing players, whether it be free agency or trades.
Guys all believe in this guy, and they have respect for him, and they believe, and that's what you always hope as a major league manager.
Ground ball to third. Matt Dominguez takes it over to first. 1-2-3 9th inning for Jerome Williams, who has retired all 6 he's faced. It's 10-1, bottom of the 9th. Baseball is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Back inside beautiful Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston, Texas. There's still some traffic outside. It is 10-1. The Athletics lead. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning now, and the Astros will be facing lefty Drew Pomeranz, who came in for the 8th inning. Scott Kazmir, the starter, went 6. Dan Otero went 1. Eric Sogard stays in the game. He's at second base, and Nick Punto has moved over from second to shortstop. Melvin moving some pieces around on the chessboard as the bottom of the 9th arrives, and it's Matt Dominguez to lead it off against Pomeranz. Domingo 1 for 3, an infield hit in the 4th inning. So Oakland trying to make it 19 wins in the last 23 games against Houston. Has gotten a solid start from Kazmir tonight. A lot of offense early. 6-0 lead, or 6-1 lead after 3 rather. And trying to finish up the deal now. Dominguez leading it off. LJ Ho's on deck. Jonathan Villar due up third. That's up the middle and into center field. Domingo with a hit, and he's 2 for 4 tonight.
Yeah, make the most of it while you can. Didn't hit it sharply, broke his bat. Solid line drive when the game's all over.
Got the end of the bat on it. He's aboard for Hose. That's hit number 7 for Houston.
In today's electronic world, in seconds, that's a solid line drive.
Strike to LJ. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Bouncer goes to shortstop. There's a good flip by Punto, and Sogard turning it 6-4-3.
You know, that grates at me. Stay tuned for Astros postgame live, presented by Jack in the Box. As Matt Dominguez was at first base, the A's played well behind. Matt did not go, and the ground ball presents a double play. And therein lies a big problem for me.
Jonathan Villar doubled in the 7th inning.
But again, all part of that. How do we play this? How do we make sure and not upset the other guys?
Yeah. Villar looks at ball 1. You think those rules are suspended when two teams are bitter rivals? They just can't stand each other.
Well, I've seen it happen that way.
Line shot into left field.
There you go.
Villar's 2 for 4 tonight.
There you go. A couple of straight at bats for Villar. Playing great shortstop. Boy, what a valuable player he is if he gets to swing in the bat and continues to play defensively as he has.
I can remember back in the 70s, the Reds and Dodgers had no loss for each other. And in Dodger Stadium one night, the Dodgers were leading 10-1 in the 7th inning, and Davey Lopes swung at a 3-0 pitch. Well, everything broke loose after that.
Good for Davey.
Altuve is 2 for 4. There's a strike.
You know, and knowing Davey, I'll bet he was completely aware of what he was doing and why.
And knew
and didn't
what the
care.
repercussions would be.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably right. Line shot over shortstop into left center field. That's in for a hit. And Altuve gets number 3 of the night for him. That's 25 hits for Jose Altuve in the first 24 games.
He can play. You know, and he's been one of the impact guys for VR in terms of his defense.
Yes, he has. He's got 23 games for Altuve, 25 hits. Alex Presley, who grounded out in the 7th inning, comes up. 9 hits for the Astros tonight now. Dodgers lead the Phillies 2-0. They're in the top of the 5th at Los Angeles with Dan Herron on the mound. Uribe hit his 4th homer. They're striking.
Come on, Alex. Come on, Alex. Come on, Alex. Come on, Alex. Come on, Alex.
Well, so far, Oakland is looking good and trying to defend its title. And a win tonight would make it 14-8 for Oakland. Texas brought a 14-8 record into today's play. That's been a surprise with the injuries the Rangers have had. Chopped out to the right side. There's Barton tossing and safe at first. The bases are loaded. Good hustle by Presley to beat it out.
Alex Presley's been playing his tail off. And he gets another hit against the left-hand pitcher right here. Well, it's the hustle and speed down the line to get it. He is digging. Sniff. Sniff that knock and you can fly. Or at least some guys can. I'm not so sure they didn't get him. Let's see here. Yeah. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I thought they got him.
Jordan Baker ruled safe.
So does the skip. Bob Melvin come out with the 10-1 lead in the 9th inning, 2 outs, and say, I want to have that reviewed?
Nope. Carlos Crawford, the batter. That's a 5-game hitting streak now for Presley. There's ball 1. It looked like Pomerantz's foot got there just ahead of Presley's foot.
Yeah, that's really close.
That is close.
Yeah, I'm not sure they would overturn that one way or the other.
Might not. Springer on deck. Another 1-0 count. That's 10 hits for Houston now to 14 for Oakland.
4 hits in an inning.
Yep. Double play ball. Would ruin the plan.
Okay, so you're going to take me back to my angry moment.
Yes. You and the Angry Birds are gathering. There are dark clouds on the horizon.
Grumpiness in the booth.
There are never grumpy young men, are there?
No. They're just out of control.
Fly ball out to center field. And that will do it. As the Astros in the 9th inning rally but fall short with no runs, 4 hits, 3 men left. Final score is Bob Melvin's Oakland A's are 4-0 against the Astros this year. It's Oakland 10 and Houston 1.